I'm Christine Lisi, developing story. ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski and Malika Andrews report as the NBA reviews videos circulating on social media of Kyrie Irving without a mask at what appears to be a family birthday party. The point guard is expected to be out of the Nets lineup through Saturday. If the video is found to be recent, it could be a breach of NBA COVID protocols. ESPN NBA analyst Jalen Rose.
He's an extremely talented basketball player. And when he's on the floor, they're going to be must-see TV. You know how much a fan I am of his game. He's Team Rock. He plays like he's one of the Harlem Globetrotters that's currently in the league. But this type of thing makes me feel like they're not winning the East this year.
Woj also reports tomorrow's Celtics Magic game postponed due to COVID issues. The Eagles have reached out to Buccaneers defensive coordinator Todd Bowles to interview him for their head coaching opening. They've also asked for permission to interview 49ers DC Robert Saleh. The Masters announced it intends to limit attendance at April's tournament. Efforts are being made to include a limited number of patrons.
Download the DraftKings app and use code MAX to get a free shot at millions of dollars up for grabs this week with your first deposit. Minimum $5 deposit required. Eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com for details.
Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anajar and Levine studios.
This is Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690 with Brent Martineau and Austin Lane.
Hey, happy Tuesday, everybody. Is it only Tuesday? Is that it? Tuesday it is here on Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690. I think a critical day. And whether Urban Meyer could be the next head coach of the Jacksonville Jaguars or not. Some people disagree with me. Been working the phones quite a bit today and yesterday and all last week. And we will see. We are on the wait-and-see list right now when it comes to Urban Meyer. Meanwhile, some other dominoes starting to fall a little bit and maybe getting closer to falling in the head coaching ranks. So we are going to talk more about Urban Meyer. Talk a little bit about Trevor Lawrence. I don't feel like I've mentioned Trevor Lawrence's name much in the last couple of shows, but what could it look like? Would it look like with Urban Meyer or even other coaches coming in with Trevor Lawrence? How will they handle him? And what kind of offense could they potentially run and his development, because that's a big part of what takes place next in Jacksonville. Brent Martineau along with Austin Lane here on a Tuesday. What's happening, man? Saw you doing some skateboarding tricks again.
Yeah, man, did a couple skateboarding tricks. That's what we call a pop shove it. So I posted that on Twitter. Landed my first one in about 15 years. My first day I really tried to do it. And you know how I operate, man. Like, I tried it once. I'm like, oh, that was pretty close. So let's try it again. And then, like, 100 tries later, and it's an hour into the session, I'm like, all right, I better hurry up and land this so I can go inside and do some other stuff. So thankfully I landed one, and I'm happy about it. And now it's on to the next phase until I get hurt again. So can't wait.
I was going to say, I mean, you're pushing your luck a little bit now.
Oh, always, man.
When is the next fight for you? What are we looking at?
We're hoping at February, but with COVID and everything, some of the regional scenes kind of took a hit, so we're still hoping February, but it's up in the air right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
So still working hard at that.
Still working. Oh yeah, every single day.
Good stuff. We'll keep everybody posted on that. We get that question from time to time.
Sure.
When the next fight.
Yeah.
I'm sure you get it a lot more than I get it. But, I mean, I'm just the Iceman.
Yeah. There you go. In the corner of the what?
A cage.
My man. He's learning.
Yes. The cage.
He's learning.
Alabama National Championship, to no surprise. They are a machine, man. Are they the closest thing to like a machine that you've seen in football? They hadn't won for a few years. You need some unbelievable teams. Clemson and Ohio State in the past, but most recently LSU last year. So you have to be like this mega team to be able to kind of unseat Alabama. Mm-hmm. But obviously it's 7 for Nick Saban. It's 13 for Alabama. It's every few years. You can't win every year. Very hard thing to do in football. But the way they just dismantled everybody this year, it was machine-like. Like, people knew what they were doing, I'm assuming, on tape, but they always had something else. They had the better players. They had the better coaching. Steve Sarkisian looked like a genius doing it. Mac Jones was unbelievable. Devontae Smith, incredible. Najee Harris, probably underrated in all of that somehow. I just don't know. I know LSU looked really good doing it last year. I get that, and they kind of blitzed people. But maybe it's because it's Alabama and you know they exist, and to do basically what LSU did last year, a year later, was like, hey, hold my beer, right?
Yeah, it kind of is. But, like, the thing that makes Alabama such a juggernaut is the fact of their consistency. Right? Like, yeah, I understand. You're always a top 5 recruiting, class type of team every single year, and that means something. But they do such a great job with their coaching staff, and let's keep in mind, their coaching staff is a carousel. But Nick Saban spearheads the entire thing, and he does a great job, and it trickles down to developing talent. If you get the 5-star guys in there, you can plug and play them right away, that's fine. But then you get guys like Mac Jones who have kind of bought their time a little bit, and they've come along slowly, and now it's paying dividends. So that, to me, is what sets Alabama apart from any other program, maybe even a Clemson, and obviously an LSU, is that year in, year out, they just reload. And when they can't reload a position, then they develop that position, they teach that position, and they get the most out of the guy who's been in that system for a while.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, just how impressive was it to you? I mean, to watch. I mean,
it was ridiculous.
They're fun to watch, though, aren't they? They're fun to watch.
Kuz, did you take the over/under? It was close.
I didn't take any.
I didn't take anything. I got you.
Bailed.
Yeah. I mean, what do you want me to say, man? Devontae Smith is a cheat code. Like I don't know. Like, you've seen fast receivers, right? And then you've seen quick receivers. But every time that dude had the ball, like, and I've said it before, he's a threat to take it. I mean, he's the closest thing to Tyreek Hill that I've seen at the college level. Now, whether that's going to translate to the pros, because obviously when we talk about, Devontae Smith, I mean, he is a little undersized per se. What does that mean? I don't know. I feel like if you have the speed, you have the agility, you have the route running, you can get away with that. But I'm just saying that was definitely the most dominant college football player of the year, and he put on a Heisman showcase, if you will, and it was much deserved that he won that.
Yeah, we'll talk a little bit more about it later. And I think, he is so good, and it was such a storm of him being good in the last few weeks that I almost feel like Mac Jones got overlooked.
Yeah.
Like, Mac Jones had 460-something yards and 5 touchdowns in a national title game.
Mm-hmm.
I get the idea that Mac Jones is playing with really good players, but that should not be, he's playing with good players, anybody could do it. I mean, the work that he put in, how good he played, he never really had a bad game. He lost the fumble, but, I mean, he was spot on, man. Decision-making, his throws, the accuracy, all that stuff. So I just don't think we can overlook that part of it. Of course, I don't want to overlook that part of it. He's from Jacksonville. We should celebrate that. He's a Bowles kid from Jacksonville, born and bred, and he won a national title and was one of the best quarterbacks, one of the best players in the country all year long. That's a phenomenal story, and it will go down in the history of this city.
Yeah, no, without a doubt. I mean, listen, you can't say enough about Mac Jones either. And the fact is, I mean, his career might just be starting. We'll see what happens at the next level. One would assume that he should more than likely be a first-round draft pick, depending on, where he falls and what teams are interested. But, yeah, I mean, it was a great story in itself. Obviously, Justin Fields was kind of the quarterback story, it seemed like. But Mac Jones was the guy that truly shined, I felt like, in that game.
Yeah, no doubt. All right, so what's your feeling today on the Urban Meyer front?
I don't know, man. It's like Groundhog Day. Like, I don't know who put out the report, but, like, it was breaking news, Urban Meyer thinking about it. Like, well, yeah, no kidding. I don't know how to feel about the situation right now because I can make arguments for both sides. And when I say that, I can say, well, Urban Meyer, he wants to do this, but then why is he taking so long, right? Like, if you truly, like, what are you on the fence about? Like, if you truly want to come back and coach, then you should have known by now. And I don't think it's a fact that he's trying to get his ducks in a row in terms of the coaching. Like, you can get announced as a head coach and figure out the staff later, right? But, like, the whole thing is it's the optics. It's saying we're the Jacksonville Jaguars and we got our coach. So it is still a little bit of unsettling, I guess I could say, that we haven't heard anything from Urban Meyer. All we know right now is that he's thinking it over. And then the other side could be, well, maybe now with the whole Doug Peterson stuff coming out, maybe that's another domino that has to fall into place first and all this stuff, and maybe it's still a good sign that Urban Meyer hasn't said that he doesn't want to do it. So I'm kind of on the fence about it, but I just feel like if you truly have your heart set on coming to the NFL and coaching, then why haven't you said anything yet?
Well, and maybe does he truly have his heart set on it, right? I mean, maybe that's what he's trying to work through. I will say this. There's two things, Austin. You can agree or disagree. But one, I believe if you want Urban Meyer to be the next head coach, and I believe that has become more toward that end. I know not everybody does, and that's fair enough. But I think, again, I said last week I did this poll last weekend when things started to go with Urban, and it was like 55-45. And this is just my poll, question. So it's not like everybody. But it was 55-45. By the time I did it again, like on Friday, it was 75-25 or somewhere close to that. So you can see how things have shifted. And so now I really feel like there's almost this momentum like, hey, I want Urban Meyer to be here. I want Urban Meyer to be here because I kind of like the idea of it after people have talked about it for a week on end and more. And so I think for those folks, I think it's good news that we haven't heard from Urban Meyer because I don't understand if your heart is not set on it, why that hasn't come out yet. That hasn't leaked out yet. He hasn't told somebody that Saturday, Sunday, Monday, now into Tuesday. I think if we don't know that by that time, then or by later today, then I think he's in. I still believe he's in right now until he says no, and so I'm going to kind of give him the deadline of later today, and so I think that's an important time frame. The other part of this, Austin, is none of us seem to question the Jags' interest, right? I mean, we wonder about Urban's interest, but the Jags seemingly are all in on Urban. Do you get that feel too, or are we missing something there?
Oh, no. I mean, if he's having meetings on the Kismet in Miami, one could assume that, yeah, the Jaguars are all in on Urban Meyer. I mean, he didn't get the Arthur Smith treatment of probably a 10-minute Zoom conversation after a playoff game. Like Urban Meyer got he got the bells and whistles kind of treatment. So I think the Jaguars are definitely interested in him. I just feel like if you're Urban Meyer right now, and if you're truly still on the fence about it, like, for instance, if I'm Shad Khan, and I'm spearheading this process of hiring another head coach, if the guy that I'm super interested in more than anybody else still needs time to think about it, I'll be honest with you. I'm a little nervous about that because I want the guy that's going to be like, yeah, you better believe it. I'm ready to go. Like, I don't know how much you can still figure out in the next couple of days or so. I just felt like if you're truly are talking to, and keep in mind, this is all speculation, but speculation has said that Shad Khan and Urban Meyer have been in contact, in the past, let's just say, right? And I think that there has been a plan from Urban Meyer saying that he wanted to go to the NFL and he wanted to assemble a staff and all this stuff. So this hasn't just transpired, it seems like, in the past month or so. I think this has been on Urban Meyer's radar for a while. So if you've had all this time to think about it, and I assume that you've gone over it with your family, but before, and you've had those conversations and all that stuff. If you've done all that, why are we still waiting on you then? Like that's just what I can't wrap my head around. Like, if I'm Shad Khan, like I said, I'm a little nervous because, man, I told you what we want. Like, I'm sure they gave him an offer. That's the offer. What is there to ponder over? Like, this is the end game now, man. Let's go.
Yeah, and I think there's always, people are careful of this stuff because let's just say he's not interested. Well, then the Jags may want to spin this, be like, well, we never offered him the job. He didn't turn us down. Like, sometimes the optics of all that, which I know appear kind of foolish, are important to people, the way that shapes up. Like, we didn't get turned down by Urban Meyer, especially if he ends up in the NFL like next year or somewhere else. So I do think those things are important at how it's kind of crafted and perceived. But And I'm trying to come with you and try to get to the point where, okay, if we all believe then the Jags are in on Urban Meyer, and they're waiting and they're patiently waiting, when is the deadline? Like, when does Shad have to say, all right, man, listen, I respect your, the process of this, but we've got to move if no, right? We want you, but we got to move on. We got other teams are filling up. If Robert Saleh's our guy, he's interviewing with Philadelphia Eagles reportedly, and the Jets are really ready to go make an offer to him, it looks like, on Saleh. So what if he's the next guy for the Jags, and Saleh can't sit there and wait for Urban Meyer for the next 3, 4, 5 days if he's got other people saying, hey, I'd like you to be our guy. Mm-hmm. So I think that part is very interesting. What I take from the Urban Meyer side is Saturday, Sunday, it was more like, this is how I assume it went. We should role play this thing out, like on the Kismet. That'd be great. Like, put the mustache back on and everything,
Let's go. So then am I Urban Meyer or are you Urban Meyer?
It doesn't matter.
Okay.
But the way I view this happening is Friday they meet, right? And they go over things. They probably meet for hours. They have a nice dinner, have a little wine, a little champagne, and South Florida, it's January, it's beautiful. It's a $200 million boat or yacht
Pitbull playing on the yacht, a little special conference, a little intimate Pitbull concert. I
Yeah,
like that.
absolutely. Maybe a little violin in the distance.
No, it's gonna be Pitbull, but go on.
Okay.
This is my fantasy.
I was trying to get my mom on the Kismet.
This is my fantasy here, not yours. It's both of ours.
So then he says, hey, listen, the NFL playoffs are this weekend. Enjoy some time with the family, talk it over with the family. Let's see where we're at on Monday. Let's come back. And both of us. Let's see what I'll digest what you had to say, you digest what we had to say, and let's chat again on Monday, see where we're at, and just stay in touch on it. We don't have to move super quick, but we probably have a few days on this. Well, Monday he's got national championship game responsibilities and doesn't want to maybe everybody said the whole Ohio State thing. I'll respect that and say, yeah, maybe that played into it. This morning he spoke, Urban Meyer did at like a conference. And so my point being his calendar was pretty filled up Monday and Tuesday. And so now you get to the late afternoon on Tuesday, like, all right, let's circle back now, Herbs. All right? Where are you at? You have any other questions for us? You have any problems? Can we help you through some of this? Where are we at? And I think that is where we're at in this. That's my view of the timetable. I am now glued to my phone for hopefully text messages and a nice heads up. Phone calls, which I've been making all day, and obviously the national guys and reports coming out to be like, okay, he's really in, or he's going to pass this time and not get back in and stay with Fox. Because those are the two answers, I think. And I think that stuff could start coming out as soon as later tonight. And I would suspect definitely by tomorrow, like tomorrow morning. I set my alarm, just to give you an idea where my head is, I set my alarm at like 6 a.m., 7 a.m., 8 a.m. Well, I was already up by then. But I set it just to check my phone just to make sure stuff wasn't coming out early. Well, it'll be the same thing over the next, I would say, 12 to 15 hours. I really think this is about to go down one way or another.
Let me ask you this, though. If it doesn't go down and it's Wednesday afternoon and we're doing the show and we still don't have an answer, if you're Shad Khan, do you throw some kind of ultimatum out there and just say, hey, like, you're obviously our top candidate. We want you here. But if you can't give us a straight definitive answer by now, we got to move on. Like, do you make that risk? Or right now, are you on Urban Meyer's time and it could be a week? Like, but whenever he decides, he decides. Like, if you're Shad Khan, what's the better play? Put them all in and say, you got to tell us right now, or slow play it?
I think it's unfair to the organization to wait much longer than the next 24 hours. I think, again, I believe dominoes are starting to fall. And I believe that means you better get moving, and you better get moving with Plan B or even Plan C. We'll never know, probably. But I don't want to get to Plan D or E. Not when my job is supposedly the best job, and I can take whoever I want and take Urban Meyer out of the equation. Any one of these folks that are interviewing, more of the normal interviews, if you will, with other teams, I can say, hey, here's our offer, and they'll take the job most likely. Not guaranteed, but most likely, because everybody has a different view of what the best job is. You've pointed that out before. So, and what the best fit is. But I believe, yeah, I think you're right onto something. I think sooner or later, and Urban's smart enough. I mean, Urban's not going to take, I would think his side won't take offense to that part. Like, hey, we just got to know something here in the next little bit so we get moving. Are you in or are you out? And I think we're getting to that point. I really do. Again, I think the next 12, 15 hours are – I think we're going to know something by our show tomorrow. I really do. By the way, I believe we'll probably know something before then. But I think tomorrow we're talking about either there's a ton of smoke that Urban's the guy, and maybe the Jags haven't made an official announcement, or Urban has said, hey, I appreciate the courtship. I really wanted to do it, but I just can't get to I'm 100% all in. I'm going to stay out of the game for the next again this time in this cycle.
What percentage are you of confidence of Urban Meyer being the coach of the Jacksonville Jaguars? What percentage of you says he's not going to be?
I wish you had asked me this question last Thursday, Friday, and yesterday. I am, without question, more confident he will be the next head coach of the Jaguars today at this moment than at all in this process.
Yeah,
so
but
I would say 90%.
90% confident that Urban Meyer's going to be the coach of the Jaguars. Interesting. Yeah. Okay.
90%. That's where my mind's at.
Dang, okay.
My eggs are in the Urban basket.
I guess so.
I'm not all in, but I'm 90%.
Well, I mean, 90% is pretty much all in. Now, is this you speaking to an existence, or do you, do you truly believe that? I'm saying, are you trying to put good vibes, sunshine and rainbows out there, or you think, okay, I got you?
Well, listen, first of all, let me be perfectly honest with you, okay? You just asked my opinion on that, and I'm just giving you my opinion.
Yeah.
And that's not to say I haven't done work on it,
sure.
But that's also not to say I'm not sitting here and reporting that it's going to happen.
Yeah.
I just want to make that crystal clear.
Yeah, this is your
but
opinion.
I believe I told you a little bit of this yesterday. I believe these last few days, the fact that we haven't heard he's not going to do it lends to the fact that he is going to do it. I think there is way more momentum for him to do it and take the job, and I just firmly believe he's tops on the Jags list. So I marry those things together logically, and I get my 90%. I think he's going to be the guy. And certainly we've tried to vet this out a little bit too, but I've got nothing, I want to make it perfectly clear, that can say, hey, he's going to be the guy. I know he's going to be the guy. I'm just at a percentage level saying 90% he's going to be the guy. I feel that way right now, that Urban Meyer's it. And so because of that, let's just have fun with it. Have you thought about Urban Meyer and Trevor Lawrence together in Jacksonville? Yesterday we mentioned you're talking about two of the biggest winners at the collegiate level potentially getting together here in Jacksonville, which quite frankly has been one of the biggest losers in the NFL the last dozen years. What does that look like? What kind of offense does he run? How good is he with quarterbacks if it were to happen? Let's talk about it next. Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690.
Action Sports Jacks with Brent Martineau on ESPN 690 is brought to you by Best Bet Jacksonville and Orange Park.
Now, the first alert forecast on ESPN 690.
Partly cloudy today with temperatures topping out in the mid-60s this afternoon. Join me beginning at 5 p.m. for CBS 47 at Fox 30 Action News Jacks from the First Alert Weather Center. I'm Chief Meteorologist Mike Burrish.
The Weather Center is brought to you by Beard's Diamonds, where you get the lowest diamond price guaranteed or your money back.
No matter what you are driving, you can step up to luxury now at any of the Fields Auto Group dealerships in Jacksonville. Cadillac, Jaguar, Land Rover, Lexus, Mercedes-Benz, and Porsche. Yes, it's luxury for less at all Fields Auto Group locations in Jacksonville. Plus, you'll also be part of their exclusive Fields Amenities program, where you will get complimentary loaners, car washes, and cafes. So whatever you're driving, see Fields first and step up to luxury for less during this amazing opportunity. Visit fieldsauto.com.
Hi, it's Phil with the Phil Aiken Home Team at Keller Williams. When it comes time to sell your home, put me and the Aiken Home Team to work for you. Here's why. Over the years, I've perfected the home selling system, putting the most money possible in your pocket. With my exclusive list of buyers in waiting, I may already have your buyer. And with thousands of buyers, I'm likely to create more demand and higher sales prices. I'll even guarantee to sell your home at a price agreeable to you, or I'll buy it myself. Don't just take it from me. Let me introduce actual clients, Lynn and Craig. Tell us about your home selling experience.
We were immediately at ease. We had a great deal of confidence that any questions we had or anything that we needed to learn about the process was going to be handled in an expert and professional way.
We sold our home in just 2 days for $3,500 more than list price. Anyone who wants to sell needs to call Phil Aiken Home Team.
Thanks for sharing. The number to call is 904-500-PHIL. That's 904-500-7445. Or visit philhasthebuyers.com.
It is the home of the Action Sports Jacks Dream 18, and make it your home course as well. The golf club at Southampton in North St. Johns County, located off County Road 210. It's family-owned and operated. Southampton is a fun course to play, and the golf club at Southampton offers club membership programs starting at just $79. With its elite practice facilities and player-friendly golf course design, it'll be your gateway to a great time with the family or with your buddies. For information on the membership programs, call the golf club at Southampton, 904-287-PLAY. Again, it's 904-287-PLAY. If you love golf or know somebody who does, you need to get this deal. 8 rounds of golf for less than $12 per round plus cart fees with a Dream 18 golf card at great area golf courses like St. John's Golf and Country Club, Amelia River Golf Club, and Eagle Landing Golf Club. And this isn't just a golf card. Get a free shirt from Baker Sports, a free hat at Dome Hats, and a free smoothie from Smoothie King, plus 15% off any purchase at Palm Beach Autographs. Go to ESPN690.com to purchase the Dream 18 card for $95. Hundreds of dollars in savings and the perfect gift.
I'm Action News Jax Tanika Hughes, and one of the great things about living in Jacksonville is our diverse communities. It's so important that the local stories we cover in our newscasts reflect the people who live here. That's why we've launched Action News Jax Gets Real, to get real on issues like racism, housing challenges, and unequal access to health care. It's having difficult conversations, as well as celebrating people making a difference. This is Action News Jax Gets Real. Real talk, real change.
As the coronavirus pandemic continues to rise, overlapping with flu season, the American Heart Association says get a flu shot. It's more important than ever, especially for seniors, children, pregnant women, and people with heart disease, stroke, and diabetes. If you get the flu, you may need to be hospitalized in an already overwhelmed hospital. The flu shot is safe, effective, and you can get it at places like your doctor's office or pharmacy. For more, visit heart.org/flu prevention.
HBI, a national leader for career training in the building industry, is providing training, certification, and placement in the construction industry for veterans, their spouses, and children that are over the age of 18 at no cost. The following 2021 class dates are being offered: January 11th, February 16th, March 15th, April 12th, May 10th, June 7th. For more program and class details, please call Joe Jones at 407-717-7609 or visit the website at hbi.org.
Hey, it's Goose from Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690. Now, I know there's a ton of ways you can listen to the show, but did you know one of the ways is through a smart speaker? Yes, the Google Home, the Amazon Alexa. It's pretty easy to do. Just tell either of them to play ESPN 690. Try it out weekdays from 3 to 6 p.m., and you can listen to Action Sports Jax.
Austin Lane.
I had braces. I still have my permanent retainer in. It's been knocked out twice.
Brent Martineau.
So it's not stuck in there.
No, it's not stuck in there.
It's not.
Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690.
If he's this, then yes, the Jets want it so bad. If you want it bad enough, give me what I'm looking for. And if you balk, somebody else will give it to me. And if they don't, then maybe I take him and you're screwed. You're sticking with Sam Darnold even though you don't want to stick with Sam Darnold. You're right. Jacksonville got all the leverage in the world at the number one spot if, in fact, Justin Fields is tied to that. And take it one step further. Maybe it's not Justin Fields, and maybe it's not Trevor Lawrence. You still can trade that pick to somebody, and maybe you now got an eye on a guy that's in Houston named Deshaun Watson with some of the other picks that you have that you now can give to Houston to take a look at.
Oh, get ready for months of draft talk speculation. I think the Jets are really interesting. What do they do? Justin Fields, just okay. I actually thought, Austin, real quick on Fields, I just don't like when teams – I understand you have to be aware of what another team does well, right? If Derrick Henry's running the football, what's your main goal? Stop the run. I get it. But I thought we saw this from Seattle the other day, and I thought we saw it last night from Ohio State. Seattle the other day said, man, we respect the heck out of your defense, L.A., so we're going to try to run the ball, play defense, keep this a low-scoring game, give us a chance. We don't want to make mistakes. Well, you eliminate your best player, essentially. That's Russell Wilson. Like, let it fly, man. Say, my guy's better than your guy. You don't have to be careless about it, but see if you can get L.A. in a track meet where you dictate the play. Well, I kind of thought that just the opposite yesterday. I thought Ohio State, and you should have a lot of respect for Alabama's ability to score. They scored 52 points in the first three quarters.
It's ridiculous.
They had 566 yards in the first three quarters. Listen, you can't stop them. I get it. But who's your best player? Justin Fields. Say, we're going to go up and down the field with you, man, because Alabama's defense isn't that great. Like, you can beat them. Well, instead, what you try to do is slow the game down, run the ball, take a possession, take some time off the clock, all that kind of stuff. And instead, because you do that, you get away from using your best player a little bit. You get away from a little bit who you are. Obviously, Trey Sermon goes out of the game. You don't make a player here or there, and then all of a sudden, you can't stop Alabama. You look up, you're down 2 scores, and you're in chase mode. Well, then Alabama's defense can feast a little bit more. So I just don't like it when teams say, especially teams that are pretty good at doing their own thing, but when they say, hey, we really respect what you do so much that we're going to kind of change the way we look at this game, and our game plan is going to respect it almost too much. You understand what I'm saying?
No,
I feel like you play right into their hands that way.
I definitely get what you're saying. And if you truly have, probably the consensus number 2 pick of the draft, then let him air the ball out. But at the same time, like, we've seen this Ohio State before. We saw it in the Big Ten championship game when they took on Northwestern. Northwestern did a pretty decent job of shutting the pass down, using a lot of press coverage that kind of flustered Fields a little bit. And all of a sudden, they went away from the pass game and used Trey Sermon. And all of a sudden, they started pounding the rock. And I remember I even said, like, it's very peculiar to me when you have arguably the second best player in college football and you're not giving him the opportunity to win the game. You put it in the running back's hands. And I think last night you saw more of the same. Now, Fields, he had he had some really nice throws and all of that stuff. But I just think you saw an Ohio State team that was scared to air it out with Alabama. I think you saw an Ohio State team that even when Trey Sermon got hurt, Master Teague is more than a suitable backup. I mean, he was a starter for, a majority of the season, did very well. And by the way, Master Teague, one of the best college football names I can think of. So I get what Ohio State was trying to do. But, it's like we talked about yesterday. Like, Alabama just had their number, it seemed like, in every single possession on offense and defense.
Yeah, I agree. And I just – that's a little hindsight on my part, too. Maybe it works, and I don't question that. But when it doesn't work, you gotta respect your opponent, but you can't be afraid of your opponent.
Sure.
And I just thought at times, like 3rd down, 4th down, and 1, they're not even putting it in Justin Fields' hands. They made Justin Fields not even a factor in that football game. He threw it like 15 times in the first half or even into the third quarter, Austin. I mean, Mac Jones had thrown it 30 times in the first half.
Yeah.
Justin Fields, I want that ball in his hands. He's one of the best players in America. So I was a little surprised by that. I didn't like that, and I think it was all out of fear instead of confidence in what you do. Well, speaking of confidence, I have confidence that Urban Meyer is going to be the next coach. Again, Austin asked me percentage-wise. I think I'd put it at 90% right now, my gut, that he's going to be the guy. I want to make it crystal clear. I'm not reporting that, but Austin asked, and that's where I feel. This has gained momentum in my mind to make Urban Meyer the next head coach of the Jacksonville Jaguars. And we all believe Trevor Lawrence is going to be the top pick, and I guess yesterday certainly put an exclamation point on that. If there was any wave of momentum from the semifinal game and the championship game to capture for Fields, well, that didn't happen.
Yeah.
Not enough. And so now everybody's all in the camp of Trevor Lawrence. I don't even think that's a question on our show today.
That's what we call a 100%er.
That is a 100%er. Slam dunker.
Yes.
Exclamation pointer.
Yes, sir.
That's all those things.
Yes, sir.
Lock.
Yes.
It's a lock.
Yeah.
From April 29th, I know what's going to happen. So I don't know if Urban Meyer is going to be the guy, but let's talk about it today. If Urban Meyer is the guy, he's worked with Alex Smith and Chris Leak and Tim Tebow and 3 different quarterbacks to win a national championship, J.T. Barrett, Cardale Jones. I'm missing the other one right now, but in 2014. He's
Braxton Miller.
Braxton Miller.
I got you, man.
All different kinds of quarterbacks, right? Different styles quarterbacks. And no doubt Trevor Lawrence, from a check-the-box standpoint, would be the best prospect kind of quarterback that he's worked with. And by the way, you could say that for just about any coach. That's how good of a prospect Trevor Lawrence is.
Well, and also, I mean, you got to give him props with Josh Harris and Bowling Green, too. Just because Josh Harris as a kid stood out to me big time because he was the first player that I knew that had, he didn't have dreadlocks, but he had, long braids. And, at the quarterback position at the time, that was crazy.
Somebody mentioned him today, and I couldn't come up with his name. Did he end up making it in the NFL for a couple years with, Pittsburgh or something?
Yeah, I think he had a stint.
Okay.
Let's see. I can look him up real quick. I mean, I know he had a shot. I don't think he really did anything with that shot. He was drafted in the 6th round by the Baltimore Ravens back in 2004. He was not knocked around the NFL for 3 seasons and then finished up in the CFL.
Okay. So what would he do, man? I mean, you got Trevor Lawrence. You got this gift at the quarterback spot for any coach. But you got Urban Meyer, this innovative mind, this guy that has a resume of winning but also working well with offenses and QBs. How do you see that together, if we could dream about it before we know it's a reality, or if it doesn't become a reality, that marriage of Meyer and Lawrence, how good would that be for Trevor Lawrence and for the Jacksonville Jaguars?
Yeah, I mean, obviously we're talking about Urban Meyer, so we have to talk about the ability to adapt, right? Because Urban Meyer definitely has pre-caveats of what type of quarterback he prefers. Whether it was Josh Harris at Bowling Green, whether it was Alex Smith, whether it was Tim Tebow, Jones, whoever he had at Ohio State, they all had one thing in common. They were a dual threat quarterback. Now, when he had Chris Leak, he did a great job of kind of adapting and changing that offense to fit him and give him more confidence. Because let's be honest, Chris Leak, not the most mobile of quarterbacks. So when we talk about Trevor Lawrence, obviously we've seen his mobility. He's got plenty of it. And I think that if you're going to implement him in an Urban Meyer offense, the first thing you got to talk about is the zone read option. That's kind of Urban Meyer's calling card. That's kind of what he's known for. I think when we talk about the zone read option, though, we got to keep in mind, like, you don't have Tim Tebow back there, and that's no knock on Trevor Lawrence because this guy is 6'6", and he's built, and I'm sure he's durable. But, like, the last thing I want to do is let Trevor Lawrence run for 10 to 15 times a game with the risk of getting hurt, because I want to rely on Trevor Lawrence's arm a little more than I have to do with his legs. So I think you see a lot of zone read options, but it's going to be a lot more pass driven. It's going to be a lot more quarterback friendly, let's just say.
Okay, hey, I'm going to leave this up to you the next few minutes. I got to run and do a quick interview. I'll tell you who it is, and I'll tell you the backstory because it's kind of funny. But I'm going to do that right now, and you take it from here. I want more on Trevor Lawrence's development with Urban Meyer and what kind of offense potentially the Jags could run with Urban Meyer, because I don't think they're going to run him like they ran Tebow, I just don't think they're going to do that. So I'd love to see what you think they might do from an evolution standpoint. Take it away. I'll be back with you guys in just a couple moments, and it is kind of a funny story. It may be with a happy ending. We'll find out.
Hopefully it works out for you. Can't wait to hear about it. All right, so listen, when we're talking about Urban Meyer, it's like I said, he's known for the zone read option, and that's kind of where, let's be honest, a lot of teams right now in the NFL are going that way. We're starting to see the college game and the pro game mirror each other more than ever before, and with Trevor Lawrence, you definitely have that. Another thing, too, that I remember from Urban Meyer, especially at Ohio State, and you saw this in Florida as well, they implemented basically just the go route. Now, everyone should know, if you follow football, you should know what a go route is. Basically, it's just vertical, right? It says, hey, you're the fastest receiver we have, run straight down the field, and we're going to throw a bomb. This is usually set up by play actions, that zone read option, things like that. It's kind of a nice thing to go off of, that zone read option. I think if you have DJ Chark right now, I think that if you were to get a free agent, maybe like an Allen Robinson or a Chris Godwin, that could open things up a little more. Because listen, like I love Laviska Shenault, but is he the true go-to receiver? Like, is he the vertical threat? I don't know. I mean, I'd have to see a lot more out of him. I think he's more of your short threat. Get him the ball in space. Watch him work. He's hard to tackle. I like him there. I think DJ Chark could be the deep threat. I think Keelan Cole, if they bring him back, could be the deep threat. But that's another thing, too, with Urban Meyer is that you have to have the guys that can run the deep threat. The wide receivers. And while they have some, I want to see him get more. So, like, listen, if you got a Devontae Smith or, even like a Kyle Pitts in the middle, it could be a giant mismatch in terms of, well, do you put a safety on him? Do you put a linebacker on him because this guy is super fast as well? Well, no, that's another vertical route, kind of like a Travis Kelce or George Kittle. So there's a lot of things you can do in terms of the vertical routes. I think Urban Meyer is definitely going to stick to that as well. But like I said, to me, the most important thing that he may have to change up a little bit is understand the fact that you cannot run Trevor Lawrence 10 to 15 times a game. At least not right away. Let's give him some confidence. Let's give him some weapons, whether it's a Kyle Pitts, whether it's a big name free agent receiver. Like, you got to give him these weapons to have confidence. And the other part of it too, obviously, we're talking zone read options, is the receiving back. Do you have a running back that could be a threat in the receiving game? I think last year, towards the end of the season, you had a running back in James Robinson that showed that he can handle those, wheel routes. He can handle the out routes, if you will. Now, can he do that on a consistent basis? Am I ready to call him a true 3-down back yet? Not quite. Like, I wouldn't mind a change of pace back still, and you can get those guys in the draft. You can get those guys in free agency. We thought that Chris Thompson was going to be that guy this year, but unfortunately with, really injuries and obviously the emergence of James Robinson, we didn't see Chris Thompson a lot. But I don't want people to forget about the true third down back. Not to take away anything from James Robinson, because he had a fantastic rookie campaign, and I think he only gets better from here. I think the Jacksonville Jaguars got something special in James Robinson. But, man, if you can give him a little rest and, keep him from running 20 to 30 times a game and then having to get receptions as well, then why not do that? So I think a third down back is going to be pivotal as well. But when we break down, the former Urban Meyer players, when we break down guys like, and listen, I understand the whole Josh Harris thing. Urban Meyer was there like a year or so. You can't really call Josh Harris a big Urban Meyer guy. But when I see Chris Leak and, I see the stats, pulling them up right now. So 2 good seasons under Urban Meyer, 43 touchdown passes, 63% completions, and obviously a national championship. Like, that to me is what makes me excited about Urban Meyer more than anything. Because when Urban Meyer got there, Chris Leak did not fit the mold, right? And what do coaches usually do in that situation? You see Chris Leak, all right, I don't like this guy. He doesn't run my offense. Let's go in the transfer portal. And keep in mind, back in 2005, I think it was, they didn't have a transfer portal. But let's go in another direction, right? Because this guy doesn't run what I run. But Urban Meyer didn't do that. Urban Meyer said, you know what? This guy is a leader in the locker room. He's a field general. Let's make this work. I'll put this guy in position to succeed. And that's what I love about Urban Meyer. Okay. Now, yes, I've been pretty critical. Can he handle the next level? Obviously there's still the health concerns, all that stuff. There's the bad optics from some of his past. Like, listen, there's reasons why you shouldn't like Urban Meyer. But I'm just saying, from a former player's perspective, maybe the big reason why you should like Urban Meyer is the ability to adapt. And Chris Leak is the prime example of him being able to adapt. So like I said, they won a national championship. Leak was, he was a big part of that, had a good season for Urban Meyer. Let's fast forward now. Tim Tebow. Tim Tebow was really kind of the game changer, I feel like, in the quarterback option, right? Because we saw this dude who was built like a fullback, who had a decent arm in college, who could make the throws when he had to, but obviously was reliant on his legs just as much as his arm. And that offense, and you mix that with, obviously, you had Riley Cooper, you had Aaron Hernandez, you had Percy Harvin. Like, to me, that was like the Kansas City Chiefs of now, where you couldn't shut everybody down. Now, listen, I'm not going to compare Tim Tebow to Patrick Mahomes, but my point is that every defense that planned against that Florida Gators team, well, who was the game wrecker? So you had to stop Tim Tebow. Well, then you had to stop Riley Cooper with that vertical threat like I've talked about before. Oh, we got to stop Aaron Hernandez, right? Like, you got to stop all these guys. And you just couldn't do it. So, once again, to me, another positive, and what I see from this Jaguars offense right now, you have the wide receivers. You have the running game. The offensive line, I'm intrigued by. If you have to add another piece here, do you re-sign Cam Robinson? We'll see all that stuff. But overall, I'm not shaking off this offensive unit. I'm actually very intrigued by this offensive unit. And if you add Trevor Lawrence, you add a big arm, obviously, the arm talent, and his ability to move in the pocket and get you yards with his legs when he has to. Now you add maybe 2 more pieces. Maybe you add a legit tight end. And let's be honest, in free agency, you don't see a lot of those guys, right? You got Jonnu Smith, okay. You got Jared Cook, okay, but he's up there in age on the back nine of his career. That's about it. Hunter Henry, unless he gets franchise tagged for like the 100th time with Los Angeles Chargers, but that's about it. And you know how I feel about Kyle Pitts. And Kyle Pitts being a former Florida guy, maybe Urban Meyer likes that a lot, and maybe they got to do something, a little move and shake here to get Kyle Pitts with that second first-round pick. But, like, Kyle Pitts is a guy that could obviously help this offense a lot, and that's what you're missing right now. I think you're missing one more playmaker in terms of speed, in terms of just lining them up wherever you want, and you're missing that true tight end. You're missing that big threat who's going to be the mismatch. Because history has shown us, and I understand, taking a tight end in the first round, uber risky, all right? I can't state that enough. But if you're the Kansas City Chiefs, when you're the Baltimore Ravens a couple years ago, when you're the San Francisco 49ers of last year, like, what do they all have in common? They have a tight end that can get the job done. And whether Kyle Pitts is going to be that guy or not, I'm not sure. But if I'm Urban Meyer, I'm doing everything in my power to take a risk on him. So there you go with, obviously, Tim Tebow. And then Braxton Miller and Cardell Jones, like, listen, once again, it just shows you the power of the offense, right? Braxton Miller, in his two years, whatever, 2,339 yards, 25 touchdowns. He gets hurt, and then Cardell Jones comes in like a third-string quarterback and absolutely lights the Big Ten on fire. And it's not to take away from Cardell Jones or Braxton Miller, because and Tim Tebow and Chris Leak, they were fantastic college quarterbacks, a lot of great talent. But what happened when they got to the league, right? Nobody really had like that promising pro career. Nobody really lasted that long in terms of, that potential all-pro type of quarterback. What I'm curious to see, and why I think Urban Meyer is definitely intrigued about the Jacksonville Jaguars job, is what happens when you have a maybe once-in-a-generational draft pick in Trevor Lawrence that you can add to your offense. What happens when you have the NFL arm talent, the NFL decision-making, the NFL athleticism, the NFL size? What is that going to do for your offense? That's the biggest question for Urban Meyer, and that's why I feel like Urban Meyer, if he wants to coach in the NFL, I think he'd be foolish not to coach Trevor Lawrence. But time will tell. More on ESPN 690 when we get back.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. Here's what's happening. According to ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski and Malika Andrews, the NBA is reviewing videos circulating on social media of Nets point guard Kyrie Irving at what appears to be a family birthday party without a mask. If the video is found to be recent, it could be a breach of league COVID protocols. Irving's expected to remain out of the lineup through Saturday. NBA's postponed tomorrow's Celtics Magic game because of COVID. Third straight game Boston's had postponed. The Eagles looking to interview Buccaneers defensive coordinator Todd Bowles and 49ers DC Robert Saleh for their head coaching opening. The Philly job, though, not all that appealing, explains ESPN's Sal Palantonio.
You have an expensive and aging roster, absent of really any game-changing talent with the possible exception of Miles Sanders. Your offensive line is broken. You're in salary cap hell. You're handing the new head coach a quarterback controversy.
Sal Pal with Keyshawn Johnson, Jay Williams, and Zubin Mehenti. The Bruins will honor Willie O'Ree, the NHL's first black player, by retiring the Hall of Famer's number 22 in a pregame ceremony on February 18th.
Look, we all accidentally damage our phones. It happens. Now, Straight Talk Wireless's new Platinum Unlimited plan includes phone protection. Just $65 a month for unlimited talk, text, data, and more. See Mobile Protect terms and conditions at Asurion.com/Straight Talk.
Boss, have you heard the latest about the ding-dong doorbell cameras?
What, more employees spying on customers?
Nope.
Hackers again?
No, boss, this time they had to recall over 350,000 video doorbells.
Recall? What happened?
A bunch of them caught fire.
Whoa, unbelievable. It's one thing after another with them.
Yeah. Notice you never hear that with Safe Touch's video cameras?
Well, now you're just comparing a Bentley with a bumper car.
Exactly. I just don't understand why any homeowner wouldn't go with Safe Touch.
Yeah, their video monitoring's virtually hack-proof. Oh, and here's a bonus. Safe Touch cameras don't burst into flames.
No kidding.
It's just a good thing not everyone knows about Safe Touch, because we gotta stick to the Crooks R Us golden rule. Stay away from Safe Touch houses.
Yeah, don't gotta tell me twice.
Crooks know to stay away from Safe Touch houses. Hi, I'm Lester Jackson, president of Safe Touch Security Systems. No one beats our technology or our price.
Call Safe Touch today at 888-723-8682 or go to safetouch.com. State license number EF233.
Hi, it's Brian Kilmeade for Phil Aiken Home Team Keller Williams Realty. I'm talking with Greg and Gary about their recent home sale. Why did you call Phil Aiken?
We called Phil Aiken because we had heard that his team will sell your house quickly and for more money than any of the other realtors in town.
Tell us what happened.
Phil Aiken and his A-team, they will make the process very easy. Sold in 4 days and got over asking price.
Well, that's great. So how did you think they were able to sell it so fast?
Because Phil has the buyers and they have the team that can get the job done quickly and stress-free.
What would you tell a friend who is looking for a real estate agent to sell their home?
Would I recommend Phil Aiken and the A-team? Absolutely.
Well, the results speak for themselves, right? Phil Aiken and his team have the systems and will even guarantee to sell your home in writing or buy it himself.
Yes, we got better results than we expected.
Thanks, Gary. Friends, hire the agent with the buyers looking to buy a home right now. Call Phil Aiken. Call 500-PHIL. That's 500-PHIL or visit philhasthebuyers.com.
We are the entertainment you love and information that shapes your day. We are your lifeline. We are your companion. We are broadcasters. Text radio to 52886 and let Congress know you depend on your local radio stations. This message furnished by the National Association of Broadcasters.
If you love golf, you need to get this deal. 8 rounds of golf for less than $12 per round plus card fees with the Dream 18 golf card at great area golf courses like Queens Harbor Yacht and Country Club, Fleming Island Golf Club, and 6 others. And this isn't just a golf card. Get a free shirt from Baker Sports, a free hat at Dome Hats, and a free smoothie from Smoothie King. Plus 15% off any purchase at Palm Beach Autographs. Go to ESPN690.com to purchase the Dream 18 card for $95. Hundreds of dollars in savings and the perfect gift.
Recently, a new client called me and started by saying, "Mr. Morgan, I really need your help, but I'm just a nobody." Those words stunned me, and I immediately called him back. At Morgan & Morgan, our goal is to level the playing field for you and your family at your time of need. The insurance company has unlimited money and resources. You need a firm who can fight them toe-to-toe. Everybody is a somebody, and nobody is a nobody. Visit forthepeople.com to learn about our firm. Morgan & Morgan, for the people.
Offices, Jacksonville.
No matter what you are driving, you can step up to luxury now at any of the Fields Auto Group dealerships in Jacksonville. Cadillac, Jaguar, Land Rover, Lexus, Mercedes-Benz, and Porsche. Yes, it's luxury for less at all Fields Auto Group locations in Jacksonville. Plus, you'll also be part of their exclusive Fields Amenities program, where you will get complimentary loaners, car washes, and cafes. So whatever you're driving, see Fields first and step up to luxury for less during this amazing opportunity. Visit fieldsauto.com.
The hardest part of any goal is oftentimes getting started. All month long, we're going to help you get started on the path for a happier you for free. To hear from our experts and check out upcoming shows from personal health to your home's health, visit GetStartedJax.com.
For the ones standing guard, for the eagle-eyed, for the knights in shining armor, and for all those who support them. We are Grainger, your experienced safety partner, offering supplies and solutions for every industry, committed to helping keep your facilities safe and your people safer. Call, click Grainger.com/safety, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Hey everybody, this is Brent Martineau. Social distancing doesn't mean disconnecting. If you're working from home or just steering clear of coworkers, keep tabs on the world of sports and Action Sports Jax on your smart speaker. Tell your Amazon Echo or Google Home to play ESPN 690.
There's a lot of good teams who came across here. For us three, I guess it's hard for this offensive team to just say it, us three. I mean, there were some people who played a role in this season, like what y'all saying, the O-line, what they've done for us. Like, it's hard to just say 3 people brought us here. Like, there's no way you can do that, especially in this sport when it's 11-on-11. It's the ultimate team sport.
Najee Harris, am I on right now? Oh. Alabama running back Najee Harris. Were you expecting a little bit of a deeper voice, Coos? Speaking of deeper voices, Coos.
Why'd you ask me?
Were you expecting? No, listen, man. I'm not trying to hate on Najee Harris at all, man. That guy's got a bright future in front of him. I just feel like the way that you run and the way that you hit stick people, let's just say, or chuck stick people, and you run with bad intentions, I was thinking a little more of like a Debo kind of voice. May he rest in peace, by the way. A little more of a Debo voice than what he had. But hey, to each their own, man. He had a hell of a game. I mean, the entire Alabama offense last night was a cheat code. Listen, they should have, and listen, with all due respect to NCAA football, and I get all the COVID-19 stuff, they should have just had the award ceremony #1 at the Alabama postseason dinner, and they should have had the national championship game just be at the spring practice. Because, like, that's how unfair it seemed like last night against the Ohio State Buckeyes.
Yeah, when they're that good, Austin, I mean, it's just I can't imagine they'll be that dynamic every year. But it's like they have the best coach, they have spent the most resources, they have the best players, and they have the best recruits coming in. It's just like this machine that – everybody always asks, like, Saban, when are you going to get out? When are you going to get out? I firmly believe he loves doing it still and all that stuff. And I actually, as the years go by, you listen to Saban talk more, and you just have so much respect for what he does and what he's all about. But why would you leave? It's like the most well-oiled machine going. I'm not saying he just sits back. He'll still work his butt off. But it's a lot less work than it was 10 years ago.
No, without
when
a
you're
doubt.
trying to build it up. Now, staying on top is tough. I get it. They make it look easy. But I have said this. I just think the gap between I put Alabama, Ohio State, and Clemson kind of in the same conversation, but I don't even know if that's fair to Alabama to put those two in the same conversation the way they look this year. But nobody else is catching up. I don't see anybody else catching up on a consistent basis.
And this is the most important part you just said. Nobody else is catching up. So with that being said, when the SEC fans last night once again come out of the woodwork and start chanting SEC, no. There's Alabama, and then there's Alabama's children. Okay? Like, that's the way it is right now.
Well, right? Listen. Hey, it's stop with they played an SEC schedule, like an all-SEC schedule. The SEC had like 4 good teams in it. That's it. I hate that part of the argument. We can argue whether Alabama was the best of all time. They were unbelievable.
Yeah.
But just because they played an SEC schedule, there were cupcakes that would have beat some teams in the SEC this year.
Hey, Ole Miss, I like you, but relax right now, okay? There's Alabama, and there's everybody else.
We'll be back on ESPN 690.
We should always be looking at our finances, but 2020 made my family take an even closer look, a bit more of a deeper dive, and it might have done the same for you, even into the world of retirement. Although that's a bit down the road for me, it might be closer for you, and your plan should already be under a microscope, and you have to lean on the experts to help guide the right plan. My friend Mike Lester with Talon Wealth Management is the perfect partner. He will provide a complimentary analysis and a plan for you. Call him at 904-515-5000 or visit guardingyournestegg.com. That's 904-515-5000 or guardingyournestegg.com. Mike will give you the guidance you need as retirement gets closer. He can help you convert company plans to private plans, a move that might give you higher returns and more options. You've earned the money. Now make sure you are ready for whenever retirement will be. Call Mike Lester at Talon Wealth Management, 904-515-5000. That's 904-515-5000. Or visit guardingyournestegg.com.
Let's say you have ED, male impotence. Or maybe you suffer from PE and can't satisfy your partner. If you have either or both of these embarrassing conditions, Prime Men's Medical Center has the solution. Meet Dr. Rabinski, a specialist in men's health.
If you're experiencing ED or PE, Prime Men's Medical Center has custom blended medications designed just for you. There's no pain and no surgery. If you have diabetes, high blood pressure, or prostate issues, not a problem. If Viagra, Cialis, or Levitra have let you down, Prime Men's Medical Center has patients lasting 30, 60, 90 minutes or longer. You'll see results on your first visit, guaranteed, or your visit is free. And best of all, it's affordable.
For a private consultation with our highly skilled physicians, call 904-206-8105. We guarantee that you'll see results on your first visit, or there's no charge for your consult. Call Prime Men's Medical Center now at 904-206-8105. That's 904-206-8105.
If you love golf, you need to get this deal. 8 rounds of golf for less than $12 a round, plus card fees, with the Dream 18 golf card at great area golf courses like the Golf Club at Southampton, the Club at Osprey Cove, and Hidden Hills Golf Club. And this isn't just a golf cart. Get a free shirt from Baker Sports, a free hat at Dome Hats, and a free smoothie from Smoothie King, plus 15% off any purchase at Palm Beach Autographs. Go to ESPN690.com to purchase the Dream 18 card for just $95. Hundreds of dollars in savings and the perfect gift.
It's time for some straight talk. Look, we all drop our phones. It happens. You fumble it, crack it, splash it. Well, Straight Talk Wireless now offers this new Platinum Unlimited plan that includes phone protection. Just $65 a month for unlimited talk, text, and data, plus 20 gigs of hotspot, 100 gigs of cloud storage, and more. All on the best network. Straight Talk Wireless, no contract, no compromise. See Mobile Protect terms and conditions at Asurion.com/Straight Talk. Limitations and exclusions apply.
College football, it's the game you wake up early on Saturdays for, even though kickoff isn't until 7. The game where the Goodyear blimp becomes a Hall of Famer. The game that goes just beyond school, spirit, fandom, or love of the sport. It's the game where the comebacks happen. It's the game where anything can and will happen, as long as you have the drive. Because college football is the game that moves you. We get it because it moves us too. Goodyear, more driven.
Nurses take extraordinary care of us during what is often the most difficult and trying times in one's life. We often take for granted the service and sacrifice of these first responders. I'm Mark Anajar from the law offices of Anajar & Levine. If you are a nurse and currently face investigation or complaint under the Florida Nurse Practice Act, you are not alone. Call the law offices of Anajar & Levine at 904-600-4000 for a consultation and take back control of your life.
Office in Jacksonville.
As the coronavirus pandemic continues to rise, overlapping with flu season, the American Heart Association says get a flu shot. It's more important than ever, especially for seniors, children, pregnant women, and people with heart disease, stroke, and diabetes. If you get the flu, you may need to be hospitalized in an already overwhelmed hospital. The flu shot is safe, effective, and you can get it at places like your doctor's office or pharmacy. For more, visit heart.org/flu prevention.
Now, sources tell ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski and Malika Andrews the NBA is reviewing videos circulating on social media of Nets point guard Kyrie Irving without a mask at what appears to be a family birthday party. If the video is found to be recent, it could be a breach of the league's COVID protocols. He'll miss his fourth straight game tonight for personal reasons, and his absence will continue for at least a few more days, explains Andrews.
The expectation is that at a minimum, Kyrie Irving will miss not only today's game against Denver, but also on Wednesday, tomorrow at the New York Knicks, and then also hosting Orlando on Saturday. Those games, again, he is expected to miss.
The NBA's postponed tomorrow's Magic Celtics game because of COVID issues. It's the third straight game that Boston's had postponed. Following the surge of COVID-19 cases throughout the country and an uptick among NBA teams, the league and NBAPA agreed to additional health protocols. Among them, when a team is in its home market, players and staff are required to remain at their residence except for team-related or essential activities for at least the next 2 weeks.
Any time of the day is Baconator time. Baconate in the AM with the Wendy's Breakfast Baconator. Yep, all the bacon you crave with a fresh cracked egg. Try one this AM free with any breakfast purchase offer in the app. There's never been a better reason to bring on the bacon. Always be baconating.
Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anajar and Levine studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000. ESPN 690. Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio. WOKV Jacksonville. Listen live everywhere you go on ESPN690.com. ESPN 690, a Cox Media Group station. Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anajar and Levine studios. This is Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690 with Brent Martineau and Austin Lane.
To me, this team accomplished more almost than any team. No disrespect to any other teams that we had or any championship teams, but this team won 11 SEC games. No other team has done that. Now, they won the SEC and went undefeated in the SEC. And then they beat two great teams in the playoffs with the break in between. This is our fifth game in a row, from LSU to Arkansas to Florida to Notre Dame to here, and played 13 games and went undefeated. With all the disruption that we had in this season, I think there's quite a bit to write about when it comes to the legacy of a team.
Throwing Arkansas in the mix like I'm supposed to be impressed.
I'm telling you, that SEC puffing of the chest is just like, gosh, stop.
Yeah.
All right?
Yep.
I mean, again, I get it. If you're an SEC fan, that's something to cling on to. I'm cool with that. I really actually, it drives me nuts, but I get it.
I don't. I mean, I'll be honest.
I get it. I get it. I mean,
how though?
Well, because there is this thing in college football where it's like, I'm better than you. The conference stuff does matter. Like, nobody does that in sports. The AL East doesn't sit there and be like, we're the AL East. We're better than the AL Central. Like, nobody does that in baseball. The AFC East doesn't say, we're better than the AFC South. They don't do that in the NFL.
Yeah,
but in college, it does matter.
Yeah, but why does it matter? Like,
I don't know
think
that.
It's stupid because if the Tennessee Titans or the Colts go to the playoffs, we're not cheering for them to represent the AFC South and go far. Or at least I'm not.
Yeah.
But then if you're a Florida Gator fan, or if you're an LSU fan, maybe not an LSU fan, but if you're an Ole Miss fan, if you're a Kentucky fan, or Vanderbilt, whatever the case may be, like, you're cheering for Alabama to win. And then when they win, then you celebrate like, oh, it's the SEC. They beat you. Why would you cheer somebody that curb stomps you year in and year out? Like, that's something I'll never understand with college football.
Yeah, I don't either. And what I don't understand it's so heavy in the SEC about is they're already the best conference. Like, it's not like you have to prove it. Like, if the Big Ten wanted to stand up after a year, right, and or the ACC, who's really been down other than Florida State and Clemson, that's really all they have that can compete at that level over the last decade. And so all of a sudden, if the ACC becomes like the ACC in basketball for a year and everybody's really good and they're beating up on SEC teams, and if they want to stand up as a conference and show the ACC, logo and be like, we're better than you. Like, I could see that, right? Be like, well, the SEC's been dominant. We all know it because look at all what Alabama's done. Look at what Georgia and Florida and whoever, LSU has done. And look what we did this year. We're better than you this year this one time. Like, I could see that. But like, the SEC doesn't even have to do that. They're like the best all the time. Like, nobody's really debating.
Have you
that,
seen the first round draft picks from the SEC? Have you seen them lately? I could go over the numbers if I really had to. It's impressive.
But they just, like, even the pompous nature of the slogan, right? It means more.
I didn't even know that's what it was.
Mean? Yeah, I mean, it means more. No, we spend more money on football. That's what you mean, right? Like,
yeah.
Is it? I guess. I mean, that's great that it doesn't mean anything at USC. It doesn't mean anything at Ohio State. It doesn't mean anything at Clemson, Florida State, Michigan, Oregon. I mean, just because I don't know. I listen again. You want to tout? We do this in TV land, right?
Yeah.
we all say we're number one in this and this and this. Like, I can find you a stat that makes that relevant.
Yeah.
So there's something about marketing yourself, and I just think it's a little bit wasted. And in this context, like, I understand why SEC fans will do it to a degree, but in this context, don't keep trying to fool me and tell me that just because you played an all-SEC schedule, this was the hardest thing that's ever been done in sports.
Yeah.
That's not true.
Yeah.
The reason why that's not true is because Vanderbilt stunk. Mississippi stunk. Kentucky stunk. Ole Miss wasn't even really that. They felt like they were good, and they were 500.
It's fun to watch.
Like, come on. Yeah, they were fun to watch.
That's about it.
Tennessee was bad, okay? So there were four good teams. And even that might be more than the ACC and the Big Ten and everybody else. But it's not like they had – there have been times, Austin, over the years that the SEC has actually had good 7, 8, 9 teams that are really strong.
Sure.
Yeah. This was not the year. Like, it wasn't. So you could have – Georgia Southern might have beaten one of these teams this year. All right?
Yeah.
Coastal Carolina could have come in here and been at the worst fifth in the SEC. That's how bad
right
the
in with
SEC
those mullets, too. Would have fit right in with those mullets.
So, again, I don't – that part of it's so ridiculous, but that doesn't take away from the fact that Alabama is really damn good.
Yeah.
Alabama is really good. Where does Mac Jones fit in the NFL landscape? Like, where's he going? I really like Mac Jones. We did a nice story on his family before the SEC championship. I got to meet them, and I think Mac Jones is an awesome story. You know how I feel about that. I love it. I've got high school kids. I love that story so much more than the story of the 13-year-old guy that was the 5-star and offered and committed and blah, blah, blah. And even if he does well, I like the Mac Jones story more because it shows you don't have to have that path of being a blue-chip guy right when you're 13 or 14 years old. But I do think there's a knock against him at the next level. I think he's going to get drafted potentially in the first round, no doubt in the second round. Mm-hmm. But I think the knock is the mobility. Same goes for Kyle Trask. But even Mac is less mobile. He'll admit that. He's not the most athletic guy. That's just the way it is. He beats you from a cerebral way, a decision-making way, and he has obviously beautiful touch with his arm and especially on the deep ball. So I do have some concerns the way the NFL is right now. I feel like the NFL is a league where you better be able to throw it for 300 and run for 40 or 50 yards. Like, I think you don't have to do it every game, but you better have that in you. Well, Mac Jones really doesn't have the 40 or 50 yards in him. So does it limit where he fits in the NFL? Everybody points to the Patriots because he kind of looks like a Tom Brady athlete.
Yeah.
People point to Big Ben because it looks like he's a statue in Pittsburgh. Are those the fits for him, or is there more out there for Mac with his ability to really throw the football? Because that's still the most important part of playing quarterback.
Yeah, listen, I mean, that is definitely the most important part of playing the quarterback is decision-making and, obviously your arm talent. And, I can name guys like Matt Ryan. I can name guys like Drew Brees. You said it, Tom Brady. Who am I missing here? I mean, Aaron Rodgers doesn't really seem like that because like he can still move around. Ben Roethlisberger is another guy. Like Mac Jones can definitely find an offense to play in. You know, it's just it's a matter if it's the right fit or not. So with that being said, like, you know, are there other guys like a Zach Wilson, even like a Trey Lance, or a little more of a dual threat type where it's like, all right, these guys can move around a little more, so we like them better than Mac Jones? That could be possible. But at the same time, I feel like if you have a coordinator out there who sees the potential, who sees the value, it's like, all right, so he can't run for 50 yards a game. That's okay. My offense, I can tailor to make Mac Jones successful. If you get him with the right coordinator, the right head coach, the sky's the limit could be for Mac Jones.
Yeah, so I think
I guess what I'm trying to say is, yes, even though he's not mobile, that doesn't mean there's not going to be a need for Mac Jones. I think a team could draft him and could definitely make it work.
Well, and here's what I'm trying to think of a comparison, and this might be unfair. Don't yell at me, people in your cars, for this. But the first guy that jumps to my mind in this, I'm trying to think of a guy that's been drafted recently that can throw the football, has a nice resume. Maybe doesn't check every box, but certainly isn't the athletic kind of guy that's going to run for 40, 50 yards in a game. Like, you don't want to run the 40 at the combine.
Yeah.
And Jake Fromm comes to mind in a sense. You know, Buffalo, I think, got him in the 5th round.
Yeah.
Now, I think Mac's a better passer. I think he proved that this year. But listen, Jake Fromm was a pretty good player at Georgia. That's a high-level quarterback, won a lot of football games. I just don't think they asked him to do as much as, say, Mac. So that's why don't jump all over me for comparing Mac to Fromm. What I'm more doing is trying to see where a guy that maybe is less mobile, like Fromm, ends up. And does he slide in the draft a little bit? And I think the answer to that would be probably yes. You know, he slid to the 5th round to the Bills, I believe. And I think there was talk that Fromm could be like a 3rd-round guy, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
So what I'm getting after is no knock on Mac. It's just the style. Are people going to be less willing to take Mac Jones because of that style and where the NFL is going? Is the timing just not as good for Mac Jones and even Kyle Trask, which could force those guys to slide down a little bit?
I got you. Yeah, I mean, I guess if it was me, like his style, it would be more like, to me, like Kirk Cousins, where he's not Kirk Cousins, I guess, is a little more mobile than Mac Jones is. But like I compare him to Kirk Cousins, or like if you want like a more like dead-on comparison, then it would be A.J. McCarron from a couple years ago. I feel like. I mean, A.J. McCarron had a lot of success at Alabama. He's had a lot of success as a backup quarterback. I think he's got a couple shots as a starter, but never sustained success when those injuries healed from the starting quarterback. But like A.J. McCarron's a very valuable backup quarterback, and I think if his number was ever called for him to come in, there'd be supreme confidence in him.
Yeah, that's a good call. I like that. I have said this, by the way, so I don't want this to sound like I'm knocking Mac Jones because, again, it's not. I think this quarterback class is going to be terrific. I think Kyle Trask is going to be a good pro quarterback. I think Mac Jones is going to be a good pro quarterback. I'm just trying to find the right situation for him. And I do think I think this league is awfully situational. I think everything is. But I think to get to your best, you got to land in the right spot, you know. Listen, Trevor Lawrence is coming to Jacksonville, we all believe. If Trevor Lawrence is here with Urban Meyer, does that make Trevor Lawrence better than he would be if Robert Saleh was the guy, right? I think that's a fair question. That doesn't mean Trevor Lawrence isn't going to be bad, but I'm trying to maximize and tap into as much potential as possible with Trevor Lawrence, and I think Meyer might be able to do that more than Saleh. And I think Saleh is an awesome coaching candidate, okay? So, again, it's situational stuff in that regard. And where does Mac Jones land there? I will say this, too, and this one, I wonder about this, sincerely. Where does Mac Jones now belong in kind of like these conversations about local products? So, you know, we have this conversation sometimes, Austin, with Derrick Henry, and we know about guys from the past like Brian Dawkins and Bob Hayes, and we obviously know about Tim Tebow, and there's many more, okay? I'm just giving you a couple of the bullet points. But I really don't think people like are talking about Mac Jones in that way, and I feel like we might be slighting the kid a little bit. I mean, he's playing for the #1 program by far in college football. He threw for 460-something in a national title game and 5 touchdowns, won a national championship, goes undefeated, is a finalist for the Heisman Trophy, puts up crazy numbers in a pandemic.
For sure.
I mean, maybe we should be putting more respect on Mac Jones' name.
No, you absolutely have to put more respect on his name and his story. But when you want to compare him, you know, to the greats a la Tim Tebow and Derrick Henry, like, Tebow won the Heisman. I mean, like, Tebow, he was such a big guy off the field as well. He was polarizing, so, like, that helped to the legend, if you will. And then with Derrick Henry, I mean, listen, the resume speaks for itself with Derrick Henry. I mean, Heisman Trophy winner, national champion, All-Pro, 2,000 yards rushing leader in the NFL. Like, what he's been able to do at the pro level, to me, puts him above everybody else just because he's been dominant on every single level of football that he's played.
Yeah, and I'm not trying to make the case Mac Jones belongs on, like, this Mount Rushmore of Jacksonville just yet, but I wonder this a lot because of the way we cover things. I'm watching Mac Jones in South Florida play for a national title yesterday, and I'm just going to be perfectly honest with you. I'm sitting there on the couch, and I'm like, wait a minute. We covered Tim Tebow win a national championship in that same stadium back in 2009 over Oklahoma. Why aren't we there? Like, why aren't we there? And so I actually thought about that. Now, one, pandemic-wise, we're not going, like, anywhere as much as we used to go.
Correct.
We're probably not going to the Super Bowl this year because of that. So in that regard, I think things have changed. But I had to ask myself, would we go if it wasn't a pandemic? And I think we would because it's in Miami. I think we would have tried to go. Like, I went to the national championship game in Tampa when it was Alabama-Clemson, and there really weren't local ties in that one. But that was Tampa, so it was an easy ride. So I think we would have gone to the title game. And I would hope we would have gone to the title game. The reason it's a little bit different than Tebow is, first of all, Tebow just, for whatever reason, Tebow had this aura about him, right? He had this following that was just unbelievable, even in the college game. But it was also, we went to cover the Florida Gators. If the Florida Gators go to a national championship game almost anywhere on the planet, we're going. Of course. Because it's the Florida Gators, it's the base. So I'm just telling you from the standpoint of where does Mac fit? Like, where are we dismissing some of his accomplishments? Are we not covering it close enough, talking about it enough? Those questions did go through my mind. I think the reasoning is correct. I think one plays for Alabama instead of Florida. That's a big difference. I think a guy like Tebow with his fanfare versus Mac Jones, totally different. For a variety of reasons, and also the pandemic factored in as well.
Yes.
But that's what when I think about these questions, just being honest with myself and everybody out there, I was like, hey, it's a fair question. Like, are we covering them enough? And by the way, I think it was Alan Verlander who said it should be the lead story in Jacksonville. He's a Jacksonville guy, and I don't disagree. Listen, I love local. I mean, this is why I do this. I mean, I love these stories. If I'm in Rhode Island, this is a story that we would have showed every play Mac Jones ever made. But in Jacksonville, we have so many guys that make it that we're almost like, okay, there's another one. There's another one. Yeah. And, heck, I went back and looked even at the Bulls' Twitter handle. They tweeted about Mac Jones like twice this year.
Yeah.
Like, I say this about Nice all the time, about Tebow. US1 across from the stadium, they should have a billboard that said Tebow went here. Whether he wants it there or not, I'd put it up.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
So it's not just I do think we take for granted how much damn talent is around here in all sports, but especially football.
I think with the whole Mac Jones thing, and you saw it with the Derrick Henry stuff, but obviously more Mac Jones because he went so close to high school around the area. It's the fact that you said it. It's the fandom, right? Like, if you're in Jacksonville, odds are you're either a Florida fan or a Georgia fan, or maybe you're a Florida State fan or Miami fan, but, it's Florida, Georgia, or Georgia, Florida, depending who I'm talking to right now, trying to cover both bases. But at the end of the day, like, that comes first. And then I feel like, the homegrown talent comes second. So if you're a Florida Gator fan and they're playing Alabama, no, like, you're not cheering for Mac Jones. You're cheering for your Gators. And the same thing for Georgia. So that's where I feel like it gets lost in translation a little bit, is the fact that once Mac Jones decided to go to Alabama, which was obviously the right decision, it turns out, I think people locally here, while they may have been cheering from him from a distance, it's hard to get passionate about it because he's kind of playing for a different team, right? It'd be like if Calais Campbell went to the Titans or the Colts. Like, yeah, even the Ravens. Like, yeah, you want to see him do well, but at the same time, if you're playing him, sorry, Calais, it's nothing but business, man.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, I'll say what I said earlier in the show. I think Mac Jones gets a bit overlooked and you dismiss because you're like, well, he's Alabama. He's playing at Alabama. They're all great. They're all players. It's easy to play quarterback at Alabama. I mean, anybody could have thrown for 465 yards and 5 touchdowns. Look, he's got Devontae Smith. And I just think that's doing the kid a disservice because I thought he played unbelievable football. In fact, I thought because he played the entire game and I saw a couple of drives without Devontae Smith, I thought you could have made the case that he should have been the MVP last night.
No, I hear you.
Of the game.
No, for sure. But at the same time, I mean, name me the last great Alabama quarterback that panned out in the NFL, though, too.
No, that's fair. That's fair. I was watching the post game. How about this, Austin? This is how crazy. Again, I'm watching it. I watch stuff from a different vantage point. I'm like, oh, how do they cover this? And I think one of the stupid things that we do in television, like the national people do, is they interview Saban and Devontae Smith right after the game, right?
Sure.
And then 5 minutes later, they go to the trophy presentation so Reese Davis can ask the same damn questions to Nick Saban and Devontae Smith.
Brent's got a bone to pick.
Well, no, it's not just them. It's everybody. They always do it. And it's like, why are we doing this? And especially, I thought of it, I said, have you ever seen a time where the quarterback of a football team isn't interviewed after the game? Well, Mac Jones was up on the staging.
Yeah.
They didn't even interview him. And, oh, by the way, he threw for 465 yards and 5 touchdowns, and they still didn't interview him.
Yeah.
I was like, it might be the first time I've ever seen a football game covered where in that kind of moment, now he ended up going to the post game later on, but in that kind of moment, with that kind of performance, the quarterback was not interviewed. I couldn't recall another.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, the emphasis we put on the quarterback position, yet we kind of want to say, Mac Jones playing for Alabama.
Yeah, for sure. But it's also like, listen, whether it's to Devontae Smith or Najee Harris, like with Devontae Smith, like, listen, you're the quarterback of the Alabama Crimson Tide. You're going to get some shine. People are going to talk about you. Like, I feel like Devontae Smith didn't get really going until, like the past couple months of college football. So,
absolutely. The last month, yeah.
So, like, I'm not mad, like, how that went down. And obviously, if you're the quarterback, you're the most important position on the field, you should get your shine as well. But, I mean, the guy won the Heisman, all this stuff, so it is what it is. Let's just say that.
No, listen. He earned that too.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to debate whether Devontae Smith or Mac Jones should have got it. I know I sound a little bit whiny about Mac Jones. I'm just trying to give you all my honest thoughts.
Yeah.
Last night I was watching.
Preach.
And I'm interested now to see what Mac Jones does in the NFL. What a cool story it is, and obviously a Jacksonville guy. Hey, Kuz, we got to be ready for this interview when we come back.
Maybe.
I like that. We can work with maybe.
I mean, how the hell am I supposed to tease that?
Oh, don't worry. I already said who you were talking to before when you were gone. I said who it was.
Oh, way to spoil it.
No, I'm kidding. I didn't.
Well, I mean, it's not that big a deal, really.
It's a pretty big deal.
Maybe we'll get Tim Tebow's thoughts on Urban Meyer when we come back.
Name dropping.
Maybe.
Name dropping.
But I got a story behind the interview that is kind of, I think, it wasn't funny at the moment, but
it's funny now. Yeah.
We'll talk about it next on ESPN 690.
Action Sports Jacks with Brent Martineau on ESPN 690 is brought to you by Best Bet Jacksonville and Orange Park.
Now, the First Alert forecast on ESPN 690.
Partly cloudy today, seasonably cool with an afternoon high in the mid-60s, dropping to near 40 tonight. Join me beginning at 5 p.m. for CBS 47 and Fox 30 Action News Jacks from the First Alert Weather Center. I'm Chief Meteorologist Mike Burrish.
The Weather Center is brought to you by Beard's Diamonds, where you get the lowest diamond price guaranteed or your money back.
Happy New Year from the team at CGC Water. This new year, our gift to you is clean drinking water. A Connecticut system from CGC Water removes up to 99% of contaminants. That's clean water. Right now, CGC Water is offering a free A200 reverse osmosis drinking water system with a purchase of a Connecticut Premier Softener. If you're still not filtering your water, you are the filter. Schedule your free water test today and get peace of mind knowing your family's water is safe water. CGC is still taking extra precautions with in-home visits and continuing to follow CDC guidelines. Remember this limited time offer, a free A200 reverse osmosis drinking water system with the purchase of a Connecticut Premier Softener. Special holiday financing still available with approved credit. Call 904-552-1242 for details or visit cgcwater.com. Serving Northeast Florida and Southeast Georgia. CGC Water Treatment, your local independent Connecticut dealer. Have a happy, safe, and prosperous new year.
Hey, know when the best time to buy Christmas lights or artificial Christmas trees is? December 26th. Off-season rates are for real. It's the same for air conditioners. Believe it or not, January isn't a hotbed month for air conditioner sales because no one's AC is breaking down in this weather. So why am I telling you all this? Because I've already done all the extensive technical and customer service training for my AC techs. I hire the best and train them even better. That's why they can fix what others can't. And part of my promise to them is a steady 40 hours a week, 52 weeks a year. And right now, they ain't busy. I'm paying them like I promised, but I'd sure rather be sending them out on install jobs. So if your system's older or you'd like to upgrade it, now's the time. By mid to late February, we'll be busy again, scheduling and running spring tune-ups for all our loyal Club Griffin members. But now's the time for a deal. So ring us at
griffinservice.com.
License number 1250697.
Hi, it's Phil with the Phil Aiken Home Team at Keller Williams. When it comes time to sell your home, put me and the Aiken Home Team to work for you. Here's why. Over the years, I've perfected the home selling system, putting the most money possible in your pocket. With my exclusive list of buyers in waiting, I may already have your buyer. And with thousands of buyers, I'm likely to create more demand and higher sales prices. I'll even guarantee to sell your home at a price agreeable to you, or I'll buy it myself. Don't just take it from me. Let me introduce actual clients, Lynn and Craig. Tell us about your home selling experience.
We were immediately at ease. We had a great deal of confidence that any questions we had or anything that we needed to learn about the process was going to be handled in an expert and professional way.
We sold our home in just 2 days for $3,500 more than list price. Anyone who wants to sell needs to call Phil Aiken Home Team.
Thanks for sharing. The number to call is 904-500-PHIL. That's 904-500-7445. Or visit philhasthebuyers.com.
In 2021, the new motto is seize the day. So you gotta go to Arlington Toyota because their super low lease payments are gonna put a brand new Toyota in your driveway tonight. Right now at Arlington, lease a new 2021 RAV4 LE for just $224 a month, or lease a new 2021 Corolla LE for an amazingly low $127 a month. Seize the day and make 2021 yours in a new Toyota from Arlington Toyota. Shop safely in person, 10939 Atlantic Boulevard, or online at arlingtontoyota.com. Visit arlingtontoyota.com/January for full details.
Slip and falls can be embarrassing, leaving you in pain and feeling like you've lost control. I'm Eli Anajar from the law offices of Anajar and Levine. After a fall, document the scene by taking photographs and make sure to get medical attention for any injuries you may have. If you've been injured in a slip and fall accident, call the law offices of Anajar and Levine at 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000 for a free consultation, and take back control of your life.
Office in Jacksonville.
This message is sponsored by the Florida Department of Elder Affairs, the Florida Association of Broadcasters, and this radio station. I'm Marshall. I'm a volunteer with the Florida Long-Term Care Ombudsman Program. Now more than ever during the pandemic, Florida long-term care residents deserve the best care and quality of life. I invite you to join me and hundreds of others in advocating on behalf of people who can't speak for themselves. Visit ombudsman.myflorida.com to join us today.
Dang it, Tom Casey.
A customer came up to me the other day to say she found herself saying exactly that.
Dang it, Tom Casey.
Because she walked into a friend's home with a Florida-rated AC system and could feel the difference. Now that's a good thing, but this particular customer had mixed feelings about replacing her not that old AC. On the one hand, she was excited about being way more comfortable in her own home. No more sticky humidity. Fortunately, she reached out and I offered her upgrade options that gave her the comfort she wanted without replacing her system or costing more than her budget. So if you've been wondering if that whole Florida rated thing I'm always talking about is for real, yeah, it is. And if you're interested in upgrading, now is the perfect time. Because I'll let you in on a little secret. As a premium service provider, I generally don't discount. But I'll certainly do a little pencil sharpening during the slow season for customers ready to upgrade to the Griffin service experience. If that's you, call me at
griffinservice.com.
License number 1250697.
Individual rates, coverage offerings, and savings may vary, subject to terms and conditions, not available in all areas. If you're a small business owner, you're probably looking for ways to stretch your dollar these days. So, saving up to 30% on workers' comp insurance could mean more now than ever. That's why you owe it to yourself to check your rate with Pi Insurance. With Pi, it's easy to find out if you're leaving money on the table. Just get an online quote in 3 minutes on your computer or smartphone. Simply go to trypi.com and see if you're overpaying for workers' comp. Pi Insurance was created exclusively for small businesses. Built to make workers' comp work for you with a simple online experience and trusted service. Pi is rated excellent on Trustpilot by customers who say they make getting insurance as easy as pie. What are you waiting for? Find out today if you could save up to 30% for your workers' comp insurance. Ask your insurance agent for Pi Insurance or get a quote in 3 minutes at trypi.com. That's TRYPIE.com.
Boss, hit the gas! What's going on? You were supposed to check to see if that house had anyone home. Now their porch is on fire.
Boss, I didn't do it. The ding-dong doorbell camera just burst into flames and started melting.
Oh, so it's true. Those things are fire hazards.
Yeah, and now we know another big difference between those cheap ding-dong doorbell cameras and a SafeTouch security system.
Well, yeah, with SafeTouch, homeowners don't have to worry about their video cameras getting hacked.
Or employees spying on customers.
Or bursting into flames.
Uh-oh. Fire department's coming, boss. Time to go.
I'm way ahead of you. By the way, your eyebrows are completely gone.
Oh, well. Maybe it's an improvement.
Just so I know you still got your senses, recite the Crooks R Us golden rule again.
Stay away from SafeTouch houses. Don't worry. It's burned into my brain.
Crooks know to stay away from SafeTouch houses. Hi, I'm Lester Jackson, president of SafeTouch Security Systems. No one beats our technology or our price.
Call SafeTouch today at 888-723-8682 or go to safetouch.com. State license number EF233.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Austin Lane from Action Sports Jackson, ESPN 690. Social distancing doesn't mean disconnecting. If you're working from home, keep tabs on the world of sports and Action Sports Jacks on your smart speaker. Tell your Amazon Echo or Google Home, play ESPN 690.
Brent Martineau.
They probably already have one. Cornholing.
Austin Lane.
You're going to have a call from PR in a little bit here.
Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690.
With 6 job openings right now, do you expect Eric Bieniemy to be a head coach next year somewhere in the NFL?
I would think so. I mean, his track record speaks for itself. I mean, the type of guy, the type of man he is, the type of way he can control and be the leader of a locker room, and the way that he coaches and the schemes that he brings to us. I mean, if he doesn't, people are crazy. So, I mean, for us, obviously we want to have him here, but we know he deserves to have that job, the opportunity to go lead his own franchise and his own team.
That is Patrick Mahomes. And Kuz said from what station in Kansas City, but he said so many letters I can't even remember it anymore.
Ooh.
KCSP 610 AM Sports Radio.
There we go. That was a mouthful.
Yeah.
Imagine having to say that every time you rejoin.
I've been a little busy, and I've seen this roll around, but Jags do another GM interview. Fontenot from New Orleans. Did you see that?
Yeah.
I have no idea. Terry Fontenot. I don't know. I'm just being honest with folks. Like, if that sounds good to you, congratulations. I just don't know what that would mean for the Jags. I think it is interesting that if they are conducting virtual interviews with GMs right now, while I understand both are open, Austin, if you don't know who your head coach is, and I feel like the head coach is coming first, do you really know who the head coach is going to be?
Looking into it a little more now.
You know what I mean?
Kinda. Yeah. I mean, you're saying that they already know Urban Meyer's taking the job, so now they're going after guys that maybe Urban Meyer wants to work with, right? Is that what you're getting at?
Yes.
Yeah, that's a possibility. It could also be the possibility that the guy's maybe a hot name and he's getting other suitors, so they want to do their due diligence right away in case, someone tries to scoop him up. So, I mean, I get what you're getting at, but I don't know how much stake I put into it.
Well, the report is Terry Fontenot is assistant GM, by the way, and another guy, Jeff Ireland, who's been going around on some interviews for the Saints. So poaching the Saints is something that teams are looking to do, obviously, in the front office. He did have a second interview, according to Albert Breer, with the Broncos GM job this morning, interviewed virtually for the Jags GM right after meeting with Denver. And he's said to be a strong candidate in Atlanta as well. So that is interesting. And, again, you just wonder, I believe, and I've said this for a while now, this was even before the Urban stuff got super hot, that the Jags, I think, are going in a direction of naming their coach, and then who will that guy work with as the GM. Most people think, and conventional thinking is in the NFL, or has been, and I'm not sure it's right, but it has been, hire the GM who hires the coach. I'm just not sure that is going to happen in Jacksonville. In fact, I don't think that's going to happen, at least from a planning standpoint. I think they're and Shad Khan said this last week. He said, we'd like to announce them both around the same time. So we'd like to get them both done. Just very interesting now. Keep an eye on that Terry Fontenot interviewing with the Jacksonville Jaguars for their vacant GM position, because the GM job search has been a little bit quiet since that initial round of reports and interviews for the Jaguars, and the attention moved to the head coach. I just put something out on social media, and this is not to say this is going to happen, but have we worked ourselves up so much in Jacksonville about the idea of Urban Meyer that there will be this balloon pop kind of disappointment if it's not Urban Meyer? Do you sense, like, I'm starting to sense that, Austin. I'm starting to sense that if this doesn't work out with Urban, because there's been so much smoke, and you can blame us for some of the conversation for sure, because we haven't stopped talking about it.
This has been an Urban Meyer podcast the past week.
It really has. But I also think because we know the temperature in the room, and the room in Jacksonville says it's nice in January, but it's really hot on the Urban Meyer front. And so I think that's why we're talking about it so much. And I think people almost want to see it happen now. And I think there would be a level of disappointment if it doesn't happen. Do you sense the same, or am I thinking a little bit too much about that?
No, you're going to sense disappointment, not from the fact I think people – I don't know. From my perspective, if he doesn't come here, then that's like the Jacksonville Jaguars losing because they lost out on their guy. And as a team that was billed as the most desirable job, when you lose the guy that you want, well, that's bad optics. So – to me, that's why people would be more disappointed than anything. It's not the fact that you may be missing out on a once-in-a-generational type of coach. It's the fact that you took an L with this, right? Because you were led up to believe that Urban Meyer was going to be the guy, and then if he backs out, there's disappointment. So that's where I feel like people would be upset or, just angry about, is the fact that you thought he was going to come, and then he didn't show up. So that's what I would say.
And I believe, and you know when you asked me last week, you're like, well, hey, who cares? If it's his job and it's such a good job, take it. Well, I think that's why a little bit of, one, they wanted to meet. Two, they wanted to slow play this a little bit to just like, hey, wait now. If he doesn't take this, we got to do our due diligence on other guys. But we're not sure he's going to take this, or who knows if this is still going to be a fit. We're allowed to explore this stuff. But now it's reached such a boiling point that I feel like people in town are like, will you just tell me if he's going to do it or not?
Yeah.
Is he going to do it or not? And if he doesn't, I think there'll be this level of disappointment. And also, it's unfair almost to the next guy that gets the job, like that's the consolation prize. Well, maybe that guy was super high on the Jags list anyway. This was 1A, 1B, and we got two great candidates. We love this guy, and we can't wait to get him if Urban says, no, we're going to explore this first. But the perception of it will be, oh, that's the consolation prize. Great.
Yeah. No, for sure. Like that will be the perception. But once again, and this is why I've been adamant about, you should probably give this dude an ultimatum and say, like, hey, we got to know by now, because then if you lose plan B and you go to plan C, like, listen, I'm not sure who the second favorite is right now for Shad Khan. I don't know if it's Saleh. I don't know if it's Bieniemy. I don't know if it's Arthur Smith. I don't know. Maybe you have a better idea, but I don't know. All I know is Urban Meyer is number one. And I just feel like if you lose Urban Meyer and all of a sudden you lose like Saleh and then you lose Bieniemy, like regardless of where those guys were ranked, especially in my eyes, Bieniemy, because he is kind of the bigger name in my opinion. Like if you lose out in Bieniemy because he went someplace else, now you're talking about a fan base that I think is going to be upset. Right now, we'll see if they interview Dabble and like, I'll tell you right now, if you get Arthur Smith, I think Saleh's lukewarm. I think people are 50-50, and obviously you can tell better because you did the whole poll thing. But like, I feel if you get a guy like Saleh or Arthur Smith, fans will be disappointed.
Yeah.
Because now you're going like scraps, it seems like.
Yeah, and it's just it's an odd thing. That's not necessarily reality. It's just kind of perception because everything gets beefed up. And again, we're a big part of that. I understand that.
Well, hey, we haven't talked about Robert Saleh for a full day. We haven't talked about Bieniemy for a full day. A little bit with Maurice Jones-Drew, but like that's the power of Urban Meyer. That's where we're at right now.
Yeah. Well, that's the buzz. It is certainly the buzz, and so much so. I'll give you a little backstory after you hear this interview. But just caught up with Tim Tebow a short time ago, and few people know Urban Meyer like Tim Tebow, and he's part owner now of the Jacksonville Icemen, by the way, and he's got an event coming up on Friday, part of the conversation about Urban Meyer, and part of the conversation about Trevor Lawrence and even Mac Jones. So we hit on a bunch of topics. Here's the interview just from a few moments ago with Jacksonville's Tim Tebow. Well, these men need no introduction. You know him well. Jacksonville is only been all over the place. The national championship game last night back in Jacksonville. And did you know this? Tim Tebow is part owner of the Jacksonville Icemen. So add that to the resume as well. Hey, great to see you, man. How did this all come about to get involved with the Icemen?
Well, good to see you. Thanks for having me. Honestly, it started with relationships with Andy Kaufman and the ownership of the Icemen and getting to know them and be able to spend time. And it's really important for me to have great relationships with people that I'm around and involved with. And so just really liked all the people and Jason and just the whole team. And then it also, when this opportunity came up, it was important for me to also just invest in a city that has invested so much in me and be able to love them. And so to be able to have a tiny piece of this team and support the city of Jacksonville, and it could be a place where people can find enjoyment and fun and fulfillment and a lot of smiles. I thought that was pretty cool, and I wanted to take that opportunity.
But you've always stayed connected to Jacksonville, but whether it is being a part of the Icemen or just going back and speaking to youth groups, church groups, having a home in Jacksonville, why has it been so important? You can live anywhere, right? You can go all over the place. It's hard to live home to SB to begin with, but why has it been so important for you to stay connected in some way, shape, or form to the city?
It's because Jacksonville means a lot to me, and so many people here have invested in me, and while we do get the chance, me and my wife, to travel around the world, she's from the other side of the world, and we do, one of our thoughts and sort of goals is that we want to get to every country in the world. Like, we love it. We want to, be able to bring faith of love to people all over the world, but we also want to do that in our backyard. And there's something special about home, and for the way that Jacksonville's embraced, my wife Timmy coming from South Africa, for the way it's taking care of me. I can, I still, if I'm going to my parents' house, I still, will drive by Normandy and Lakeshore and so many other places I played basketball and everything, and so it just means a lot. And so, while we get the chance to do some fun things and go all over the place, there's still, you don't want to be too cheesy, but no place like home.
Family every Friday night, Jacksonville Icemen game, and then you'll speak after you can still get tickets that way. remarks and curiosity around Jacksonville with the Jaguars. You can break the news, man. We're just friends here. You can let us know. What's the latest with Urban Meyer? Everybody wants to know.
I'll tell you what, we've had the chance to talk a lot. We talked a little bit ago, and I love him. He's like a father figure to me, and if he accepts a job at the next level, whether that be Jacksonville or another team, then I'm going to be supportive of him and cheer for him or root him on and do everything I can to help. And if he doesn't, then I'll also be supportive because he's doing a great job of being a husband and a dad and a grandfather. And I'll tell you what, he's a lot softer as a grandfather than he was as a coach. Let me just be honest with you, right? He didn't give us everything we wanted. He gives his grandkids everything they want. So, but he is, I think, if he decides to take a job, then I think he'll do it for the right reasons, and he'll have a lot of support, especially for me.
The college game is different than the NFL game, but this guy is third all time in winning percentage in college. Can it translate to the NFL level, especially now where it seems like the college and NFL game are as close as they've ever been?
Yes, I think it absolutely can translate, and especially from him, because he's not a system guy. He's not just bringing a system or a scheme, right? Sometimes you hire coaches because they have a certain scheme. No, this is a guy that knows how to motivate people and motivate men and inspire people, and he's not bringing a system. He has a million systems. He had a different system at Bowling Green, Utah, Florida, Ohio State. What he's bringing is a culture, is principles, is a buy-in, is something that I think would be special, and I think it will work at any level, because I don't think he would rest until it did.
Yeah, who knows if Urban Meyer ends up here? We'll find out probably in the next a day, two, whatever. But we do think Trevor Lawrence is coming to Jacksonville as a number 1 overall pick, and this guy seems to have all the tools, Tim. Quarterback play. What makes Trevor Lawrence so special? Why should Jags fans be so excited about the prospects of this guy being the franchise QB?
Well, you're right. He does have all the tools, but I think he also has the intangibles as well. He's played in a lot of big games. He's played well under pressure. He's a good young man. I think he's someone that you can build a franchise around. I think he has a chance to be a staple. I think he has the chance to be a very high character young man for your team, for your organization. So I think there's a lot of great things going for Trevor. And I believe in him and I'm rooting for him. But I also believe that you need to put the right pieces around him, because in the NFL, one person ain't getting it done. It's got to be a team, and it's got to be a culture. And so I'll be rooting for Trevor, and he's a great young man, but I also think he needs support as well.
All right, I'm going to leave you with this one. I'm going to take you back a decade. Our buddy Martin Buckley, you're outside his shop, TD Autographs, and in the Avenues Mall, you're this star quarterback from Jacksonville signing autographs. There's a couple of hours worth of people waiting in line to meet Tim Tebow. And in that line is a kid that says, I want to be like Tim Tebow. And that kid last night won a national championship for Alabama. He probably isn't the only kid that said that. But what does that mean to you that Mac Jones has willingly said, Tim Tebow was the guy I wanted to be like, and now like a decade or so later, he's the guy?
Well, it means a lot. I've always really tried to take the platform that God has given me and the influence that I've been given very serious and intentional, and to try to be a great role model, someone like Danny was to me. And I'm grateful if I had any positive impact on Mac, because that's just so much more important than a game will ever be. If you're able to make someone's life better, if you're able to invest in them, to encourage them, to uplift them, it's just so important. I believe one of the greatest things we can do in life is make someone else's life better. And I'll tell you, I'm so proud of Mac, the way he's handled it. It's hard to root for an Alabama guy, but it's easy to root for Mac Jones. Everything that he has done, his mindset, his competitiveness, his determination. I think there's a lot of young kids looking up to Mac Jones right now, and I think they should be.
It's easy to root for Jacksonville guys. Mac Jones, like Tim Tebow as well. The Tim Tebow Foundation, Faith and Family Night with the Jacksonville Icemen on Friday night. Part owner of the Icemen. I'm telling you, somewhere in this tenure, we got to get you to put skates on and play for the Icemen.
Hey, listen, the most I know about hockey is Miracle and the Mighty Ducks, okay?
Tim, be well, man. Keep up the good work.
Appreciate you. Thank you so much.
That is Tim Tebow. Just caught up with him within the last hour. for a second time. And you just heard it on Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690. Comments about Mac Jones, where I really think that's cool. Tim's a young guy, but to see somebody like Mac Jones, and we did the story with Mac Jones at his house. I've seen pictures of Mac Jones with Tim Tebow after being in line at the Avenues Mall that day, and other things that he said, like on his wristband, be like Tim. So it's pretty cool to see a decade later or so that come fruition for Mac Jones, what we saw last night, and that's going to be pretty neat for Tim as well, see the impact he's made. Part owner of the Iceman, thoughts on Trevor Lawrence, and right now just the timing of this and resonates in a big-time way, his thoughts on Urban Meyer. And what struck me about the Urban Meyer part is, I listen, you got to understand, Tim loves Urban Meyer. He knows him so well. They talk on a daily basis, Austin. But when I asked you something about Urban Meyer earlier in the show, you said something similar to Tim. And you said his ability to adapt. And so adapt to the NFL, adapt to defense, whether it's around a QB or an NFL style. And it was interesting that Tim brought that up as well. So I found that from somebody that obviously that's not around Urban Meyer like you, but knows the game of football. And then somebody who is around Urban Meyer, one of the great traits of him, Tim Tebow says, is that ability to adapt and change. And he certainly thinks he'll have a lot of success at the NFL level if he chooses to coach.
Yeah, I went into more great detail, actually, more ironically, when you did the Tim Tebow interview. And I talked about the adaptation a little more in the form of Chris Leak. And what I was so adamant about was the fact that when Urban Meyer got there, like, listen, if you're a coach, there's two roads you can go down when you first get to a new team. You can wholeheartedly trust in your system and the way that you do things. And I'm talking more about the on-the-field stuff. And you trust your system. And you go, I need guys to fit my system. Or you take a look at the big picture at hand. And you see a guy in Chris Leak who's not the most mobile guy. And you see, okay, you know what? This guy, not going to do the read option with him. Right? But there's something there. There's leadership qualities there. These guys in that locker room respect this dude, and I'd be doing myself a disservice as a head coach who just got in if I was going to say, you know what, Chris, man, I appreciate what you did, but we're going to go a new direction because you don't run my offense. This is what makes great coaches great. It's that you take what you have. Like, every coach has the ability to be great. It's just that some coaches get so stuck in their ways, and they get so stubborn to the fact of it's my way or the highway. Now, Urban Meyer still had his my way or the highway in terms of how he coached that team, kind of like the morals he's going to instill in that team, but he adapted when he saw a quarterback who couldn't really run a system wholeheartedly, but he made it for the fact that, you know what, Chris Leak is special, I'm going to get the most out of this guy, and I'm going to tailor my offense to him. That's what makes a great coach, especially from the offensive side of the ball.
Yeah, and listen, I didn't expect to hear Tim Tebow say, it's going to be a tough transition to the NFL, but Tim has played in both, so he understands, and they've had conversations. I would imagine there's some leaning on, like, the experience of a player over the years by Urban Meyer, and I think that's some of the stuff on Meyer. See, people think Meyer's like, hey, Shad Khan picked up the phone and said, are you interested, and now he's thinking about it. I think people, if you really read deeper on Meyer, he's been thinking about the NFL for, like, a decade. Like, what if? And so this isn't like all of a sudden a one-week thing like, oh, can I do this? And I think some of that conversation probably has taken place even with like a guy like Tim Tebow for years about a potential jump to the NFL. A quick story about that. So here's the deal. The Jacksonville Icemen have Faith and Family Night coming up, and Tim's going to be a part of that, and he just signed on, much like Miles, Jack, and others, to be a part owner of the Iceman. And so we're promoting that event, and go ahead and get tickets, by the way, to that event, JacksonvilleIceman.com. Well, we had 10 minutes with Tim because he's got to do some other interviews with other stations and other media, including like ESPN. And it ironically happens on a day where everything's all about Urban Meyer, which it really has been for the last week or so.
Sure.
So we have 2:45 set up to 2:55. So we do an interview. 10 minutes. Ask them all the questions. I get done. It's on Zoom. I get done, and I'm like, we didn't record it.
Yeah.
We didn't record it. I get this pit in my, I'm like, oh, my gosh. We just spent 10 minutes talking about Urban and all this stuff, and I didn't record it. And, by the way, this is not like a, hey, this story turns and really we did have it. No, we didn't. Like, it didn't record.
Yeah.
Like, that was it. I got the audio from my microphone, and that's it. And so Tim was kind enough to record again. That's why I had to jump out during the show. So I appreciate his time twice today.
For sure.
For me not thinking about recording the Zoom call.
And we should address this, too, where there was some choppiness in the first part of that interview. People couldn't make out what was being said, so we can obviously replay that. We'll post that on our social media platforms, on Facebook and whatnot, and we'll make sure that full interview in its entirety gets out there so people can listen to it.
Kuz, we'll do that. We'll have it on ESPN690.com as well. And Kuz does a good job with that. Sometimes when you play video through the feed, the audio will get messed up like that, and so I think Kuz caught it in time. That's why he pulled down some of the video and it cleared up. But more of that on the Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690 podcast, on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and, of course, on ESPN690.com. More to come, an hour to go here on a Tuesday. Will anything break? Who knows? Stay tuned. Next.
This is Greeny with Mike Greenberg.
Major breaking news, Giannis Antetokounmpo not going anywhere. A good day for the NBA. One of the ways the league gets itself in trouble is when all the stars congregate on 3 or 4 teams. When you only have 3 or 4 teams that you care about, it makes too much of it seem irrelevant. Keep it spread out. Give me 10 teams I want to see, not just 3.
Greeny with Mike Greenberg, noon Eastern on ESPN Radio. And now, watch exclusively on ESPN+.
For the ones standing guard. For the eagle-eyed. For the knights in shining armor. And for all those who support them. We are Grainger, your experienced safety partner, offering supplies and solutions for every industry, committed to helping keep your facilities safe and your people safer. Call, click Grainger.com/safety, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
No matter what you are driving, you can step up to luxury now at any of the Fields Auto Group dealerships in Jacksonville. Cadillac, Jaguar, Land Rover, Lexus, Mercedes-Benz, and Porsche. Yes, it's luxury for less at all Fields Auto Group locations in Jacksonville. Plus, you'll also be part of their exclusive Fields Amenities program, where you will get complimentary loaners, car washes, and cafes. So whatever you're driving, see Fields first and step up to luxury for less during this amazing opportunity. Visit fieldsauto.com.
It's time for some straight talk. Look, we all drop our phones. It happens. You fumble it, crack it, splash it. Well, Straight Talk Wireless now offers this new Platinum Unlimited plan that includes phone protection. Just $65 a month for unlimited talk, text, and data, plus 20 gigs of hotspot, 100 gigs of cloud storage, and more. All on the best network. Straight Talk Wireless, no contract, no compromise. See Mobile Protect terms and conditions at Asurion.com/Straight Talk. Limitations and exclusions apply.
For DIY projects, you know the Home Depot's always in your corner. Now with our mobile app, it can also be in the palm of your hand. With digital tools like image search, snap a picture of something. It'll recognize it and serve up product suggestions in seconds. And our product locator will check availability and lead you right to it. The Home Depot mobile app. Download it today to get started. Only from the Home Depot. How doers get more done.
We should always be looking at our finances, but 2020 made my family take an even closer look, a bit more of a deeper dive, and it might have done the same for you, even into the world of retirement. Although that's a bit down the road for me, it might be closer for you, and your plan should already be under a microscope, and you have to lean on the experts to help guide the right plan. My friend Mike Lester with Talon Wealth Management is the perfect partner. He will provide a complimentary analysis and a plan for you. Call him at 904-515-5000 or visit guardingyournestegg.com. That's 904-515-5000 or guardingyournestegg.com. Mike will give you the guidance you need as retirement gets closer. He can help you convert company plans to private plans, a move that might give you higher returns and more options. You've earned the money. Now make sure you are ready for whenever retirement will be. Call Mike Lester at Talon Wealth Management, 904-515-5000. That's 904-515-5000. Or visit guardingyournestegg.com.
Hi, it's Brian Kilmeade for Phil Aiken Home Team Keller Williams Realty. I'm talking with Greg and Gary about their recent home sale. Why did you call Phil Aiken?
We called Phil Aiken because we had heard that his team will sell your house quickly and for more money than any of the other realtors realtors in town.
Tell us what happened.
Phil Aiken and his A-team, they will make the process very easy. Sold in 4 days and got over asking price.
Well, that's great. So how did you think they were able to sell it so fast?
Because Phil has the buyers and they have the team that can get the job done quickly and stress-free.
What would you tell a friend who is looking for a real estate agent to sell their home?
Would I recommend Phil Aiken and the A-team? Absolutely.
Well, the results speak for themselves, right? Phil Aiken and his team have the systems and will even guarantee to sell your home in writing or buy it himself.
Yes, we got better results than we expected.
Thanks, Gary. Friends, hire the agent with the buyers looking to buy a home right now. Call Phil Aiken. Call 500-PHIL. That's 500-PHIL, or visit philhasthebuyers.com.
WOKV Jacksonville. Listen live everywhere you go on ESPN690.com. ESPN 690, a Cox Media Group station.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi, developing story. The NBA is reviewing videos circulating on social media of Kyrie Irving without a mask at what appears to be a family birthday party. Point guard expected to be out of the Nets lineup through Saturday. If the video is found to be recent, it could be a breach of NBA COVID protocols. ESPN NBA analyst Jalen Rose.
He's an extremely talented basketball player. And when he's on the floor, they're going to be must-see TV. You know how much a fan I am of his game. He's Team Rock. He plays like he's one of the Harlem Globetrotters that's currently in the league. But this type of thing makes me feel like they're not winning the East this year.
Responding to a surge of coronavirus cases throughout the U.S. and an uptick among NBA teams, the league and NBPA agreed to added health protocols, including all players wearing face masks on the bench at all times, and on the road, they're prohibited from leaving their hotel except for team activities or emergencies. From ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski, tomorrow's Celtics Magic game postponed due to coronavirus issues.
With no fees or minimums on checking and savings accounts, and an app that lets you bank anytime, anywhere, choosing Capital One is like the easiest decision in the history of decisions. That's banking reimagined. What's in your wallet? Terms apply. Capital One N.A. member FDIC.
Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anna Jar and Levine studios. Anna Jar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000. ESPN 690, Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio. Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anna Jar and Levine studios.
This is Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690 with Brent Martineau and Austin Lane.
I think we're the best team to ever play. I mean, there's no team that will ever play SEC schedule like that again, but at the same time, we're just so happy to have won this game and kind of put the icing on the cake. There was not a lot of pressure. We just wanted to go out there and play the game that we've been playing since we were all 5 years old, so we did that really well. I think you just have to give credit where credit's due.
That is Jacksonville's Mac Jones. Wins a national championship, does it in style. 5 touchdowns last night. What a magnificent season. I'll let it slide, Mac, talking about that whole SEC schedule. But outside of that, what a year. Hey, we said the teams that would win championships would navigate COVID-19 the best. Well, I think you have to give them credit for navigating COVID-19. I'm not sure I feel that way after watching everybody win championships. You know what I'm saying, Austin? Like, right. I think when I give credit to Alabama for navigating it, does that mean because they beat Ohio State last night and beat Notre Dame that they navigated that stuff better than them? I don't really believe that because I think Alabama's just better than them.
But
they did a great job.
Yeah, I mean, they also navigated it well, though, too, because I don't remember a lot of guys from Alabama having COVID.
Yeah, and like I said, I mean, I think if you get to the finish line, by the way, I think you did a heck of a job, right? Yeah. I think the fact that, I mean, heck, right, Clemson was it just one game they lost? I think it was just one game, the Florida State one. But anyway, I just feel like as I look back on this, and we're almost done crowning the 2020 champs, I mean, Super Bowl will be on the way. If you look at the Dodgers, the Lightning, the Alabama Crimson Tide, the Lakers, okay? If I take those examples, who did I say? Lakers, Alabama,
Tampa Bay,
and Dodgers. I didn't follow the hockey season enough to know, but was the Lightning the best team in hockey, like, at the outset?
They were up there.
They were pretty close,
Yeah.
right? So the Dodgers were odds-on favorites to win the World Series, or at least one of the favorites. Alabama was one of the favorites. The Lightning were one of the favorites. The Lakers were the favorite, I believe. So I guess I just feel a little bit differently that like a team snuck in and handled it so well, and it hurt a team that was a favorite to go chase a championship. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get what you're saying. I mean, at the end of the day, like if a team handled it well, then they're probably the champion. I mean, but like there's circumstances where a player comes down with COVID and that team probably fell off a little bit. So I think to make that point more, it's the teams that maybe underachieved a little bit is that where you can blame it on COVID more than the teams that actually won the whole thing was because they handled COVID right. I mean, like I said, like Alabama, I don't think they have a lot of players that came down with COVID-19. I don't think the Tampa Bay Lightning did. I don't think the LA Lakers did. I think there's other teams out there that had, COVID cases though. So I think it's a mixture. I think it's a mixture of that you followed the protocols right, you did things the right way, and other people, other teams, let's just say, maybe didn't.
Yeah, that's fair. It's just I thought it might stick out to me a little bit more that a team would be like, well, like if Cleveland ends up going on a run, I'd be like, holy cow! Like if they win the Super Bowl, now they managed COVID-19 pretty dang good. Like they didn't, but they did. Like they overcame it. Like it feels more of their story. I just don't know of a team that won that it feels like their story. Now the Dodgers win and they have to take Turner out of the game like in the 7th inning, so I know it's part of their story, but didn't. The World Series had almost been won at that point, Yeah. So it's just interesting. Interesting as we look back on it to see how some of that shook out. One other thought on that. Did you see the story? I tweeted right after the show yesterday. You see the story where I lost track of his name, but the Indianapolis Colts offensive lineman played in the playoff game, and then the Packers signed him?
Yeah, I was a little confused of like what that was all about.
Well,
I thought he was on the practice squad, but it turns out he wasn't.
Well, here's the deal, though. This is the only year something like this could happen unless they change the rules going forward.
And by the way, you're talking about Jared Valdir.
And so what happened was, on game day, you're allowed to take 2 guys up from the practice squad on Sundays this year, like in the NFL, regular season playoffs. So you can take 2 guys up. Jags did that like every week. They basically would put 2 guys from the practice squad, and they pull them up to the active roster just for that day and then put them back on the practice squad on like Monday. And so you're allowed to do that, and you could only use, I think, each guy twice in that regard doing it that way. So you had to be a little bit careful, or you had to keep them there. So essentially what happened was the Indianapolis Colts brought this guy up from the practice squad, used him, he played, or he was part of the team, active roster. And now he goes back to the practice squad, so the Packers are allowed to steal him from the practice squad and sign to the active roster. And so now he'll play for a different team in 2 different weeks in the postseason.
It's insane, man.
That's wild.
Yeah.
And I think there's one other thought here. There was a great story in like the Monday Morning Quarterback, I think, or whatever Peter King says now that he does, about one of the Cleveland offensive linemen they had to poach him off the Jets practice squad like on Friday or Saturday of last week, given all the COVID stuff, and he had to drive to the game. So we're seeing these kind of stories, which I think are a lot of fun, and the interesting part of it, right? It'll be the great stories told someday about the 2020 season. But I also think it's important to mention, like, I don't think Cleveland would have taken the Jets guy if the Jets were involved in games still. And I don't think if the Colts had won, I'm not sure Green Bay would have done that. I think that's a little bit frowned upon.
Yeah,
so once they were out of the playoffs, it allowed Green Bay to go get that guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, it's, all the stars kind of aligned and it worked out. And it's obviously good for him because now you're making paychecks from 2 different teams. So props to Jared Valdir for doing that. I think we'd be remiss. I mean, that's kind of a crazy positive story in the NFL regarding an AFC South opponent. Maybe not good for them, but good for the Packers. Another AFC South opponent, Houston Texans right now are going through it, to say the least, let's just say.
Well, I just said how messy, I just tweeted that out as you said that, how messy are the Houston Texans right now? And I think the answer to that is pretty darn messy. Koo sent us a tweet from Andre Johnson, and it says, Andre Johnson, by the way, the Houston Texans' great wide receiver. If I'm Deshaun Watson, I will stand my ground. The Texans organization is known for wasting players' careers. Since Jack Easterby has walked into the building, nothing good has happened. in or for the organization, and for some reason someone can't seem to see what's going on. Pathetic. I mean, that's one of your all-time greats, man, saying that.
Well, yeah, and then it even says more than when DeAndre Hopkins retweeted him and said, like, y'all better listen to him because when he speaks, you should listen. And this is a guy who the last time he actually tweeted something himself that wasn't an ad was back in 2019. We was talking about Damian Lillard or whatever. So, like, he hasn't tweeted, like, his own thoughts in a long time. Now, he's tweeted ads and retweeted stuff. I'm saying his own thoughts, it has been a while.
Yeah, so it's pretty strong.
It was, exactly. And Andre Johnson, you know, it's a guy that I played against a couple times. And believe me when I say that there's always been a respect factor from whether it's his teammates or his opponents, because there is a respect of just how dominant that guy was. And he did it in an era when the wide receiver was the most diva position that you could think of. We're talking during some times of like Terrell Owens and Ocho Cinco and all those guys. Like, Andre Johnson was not about that life. Like, Andre Johnson kept it 100, as the kids would say, each and every time he stepped on the field. And I think he's so underrated because he gets lost sometimes because you don't remember the crazy touchdown celebrations. You don't remember the crazy quotes in the media because that wasn't his style. But I'm talking about if you look at the stats, you look at the way that guy played football, there wasn't a lot of better wide receivers than Andre Johnson. There's not a lot of other players that mean more to their organization than Andre Johnson means to the Houston Texans. So you want to talk about the Jacksonville Jaguars and the bad optics that we've been through the past couple of years. It seems like the Houston Texans right now are maybe going through it even worse, because this would be like, I don't know, like a Fred Taylor or a Maurice Jones-Drew or a Mark Brunell coming out and question this organization right now. And maybe they've been critical, but not to this extent as Andre Johnson is right now.
Yeah, it's like no holds barred, right? It's like, because this is the dangerous territory Houston's in. They already are in a weird spot. They have, I think, an aging team. They have a very good quarterback, maybe a great quarterback. They have no draft picks. They're up against it cap-wise, and they've just got a bad – they're dysfunctional. And then that Jack Easterby article comes out. And in one way, I almost give the organization credit. And this is probably a bad way, so I'll preface it with that. But I give them credit for when articles like that come out about Jack Easterby and the way things are done internally, usually what happens, Austin, somebody's out. Somebody makes a move, right? And you stay away from that. Shoot, the Houston Texans said, we don't care what that article said. We don't care what people think about our organization. Yeah. We think this guy's good. We're keeping him here. And not only that, we're going to go get his buddy from New England, who we've been courting for the last couple of years. We're sticking with the plan. So in a way, that takes some guts to do that, you know, that a lot of organizations wouldn't show. And maybe they reap the benefits of that someday. Who knows? But for now, they're not. This is highly critical time for Houston, because I don't know how if any of that stuff was true about Easterby, and now you start drawing the connections between him and Caserio and potentially a Dabo or whatever else, and you don't even interview Bieniemy until finally today they have officially requested an interview with Eric Bieniemy.
Well, yeah.
After you know that your quarterback's mad. And part of the reason he's mad is because you didn't look at Eric Bieniemy.
Yeah, I mean, Chris Mortensen was reporting the fact that Deshaun Watson's happiness is tied to the standpoint of they didn't give Bieniemy a chance, and then a couple of days later, now they're giving Bieniemy a chance. So it's just, it's horrible right now, man. And I forgot who said this thing, and I think it might have been Mortensen as well, and I'm not sure if it's exactly 100% accurate, because you know how people be for the clout chasing sometimes. But it was reported that when DeAndre Hopkins was traded to the Cardinals, supposedly on a scale of 1 to 10, and how they got this scale, I have no idea. But like on a scale of frustration, Deshaun Watson was at a 2 when they let go of DeAndre Hopkins. Now, whether that's true or not, that's what's being reported. Apparently, right now, where Deshaun Watson sits with this organization, he's at a 10. So take that for how you want it. That's just what people are saying.
We've talked about this a little bit, but what's interesting here, and whether this is related or not, and I'm not saying this in a negative way, at least at the moment, because every time you pick out Jalen Ramsey's name around here, it's like in a negative way. And I'm not saying that. But their agents are the same. David Mulugeta is the guy that really just put together 2 mega deals for these guys, Deshaun Watson and Jalen Ramsey. And he's like a rising star, and I think you could already call him a star in the agent business in the NFL. But the way he was able to get Jalen out of Jacksonville, right, and showed that player empowerment. I feel like there's something going on here a little bit too. And again, I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm not saying – I think we can debate whether Deshaun Watson should have a say. If he was told that he would have a say, at least communicate what you're doing to him or you're going to do, even if it's not being advised by Deshaun Watson per se. But talk to your franchise quarterback who you just gave $39 million a year to. But it's very interesting to watch now. Is this a little bit more Deshaun Watson, or is this more his team and kind of the new age of the NFL where we're going to see player empowerment now get to the point of, hey, if you're paying me $40 million, you might want to ask my input since I play the hardest position to play in sports, the most important position to play in sports, and I do it better than most people do it.
Listen, to me, this is all in the Houston Texans organization. Because to me, the selling point of that was when J.J. Watt was putting out cryptic tweets about sunsets and when Bill O'Brien got fired. And he said it's a new day. Like, J.J. Watt of all people, cryptic text message or cryptic tweets. Like, that's not his style. That's not his MO. It's J.J. freaking Watt. What are we talking about right now? So the fact that J.J. Watt was doing that, the fact that you lost your best wide receiver, let's be honest. How many teams in the NFL in an offensive-driven league trade away maybe the best wide receiver in the entire league, and now their quarterback's unhappy? Like, not too many teams can say that, Brett. Like, yes, I understand. I'm in no position to say that from Jacksonville because you lost Yannick Ngakoue and you lost Jalen Ramsey. And obviously Jalen Ramsey being the big name there. But to lose Hopkins like you lost him, and now to have the leader of your team disgruntled and upset, like, that to me screams it's all in the Texans organization. And the worst part is when you have well-respected players come out and speak against it too. I mean, how many more clues do you need? Like, hey, Scooby-Doo, figure this out already. Like, it's obviously something's wrong in that organization that needs to be fixed.
Yeah, I agree. I think they're just a mess right now, man, internally. I don't know if that's a quick fix, right? I mean, I think some of that lingers. We all have egos. We can say you forgive and forget, all that stuff. Some people hold grudges. You can say all the right things in front of a microphone in a statement. I think this is going to linger a little bit. And by the way, they're not very good. You know, that's the thing. They're not very good. They're not the New England Patriots who can just be, hey, I got Brady and Belichick and we'll figure out the rest, and we also have some good players. That's not it.
Yeah.
Like, this is not a good football team. If this happened in Kansas City, you might be able to get away with it. You got a lot of good players, and winning solves everything. Part of the problem in Houston right now is they're losing as well, so it's not good for the Houston Texans, which might be a good thing for the Jacksonville Jaguars.
And you know what, Brent? And this is where my apology has to come into play here. Because I've said it for many months prior to Bill O'Brien getting fired. I loved Houston Texans Twitter. It was the most entertaining thing. I would go through all the comments that the team would post, and it made my day. Because while things are bad in Jacksonville, at least it's not like Houston. And then they fired Bill O'Brien. People were all happy. And what did I do? I turned my back on Houston Texans Twitter, went to New York. Well, Gase is out now, so now New York's all happy. Even though the whole Trevor Lawrence thing, like, that's still entertaining. But, Brent, sometimes you got to go home, man. And I'm going back to Texans Twitter now because I think we're just getting started. Like, I think, like, listen, this is going to be a pretty thick onion here we got to unwrap, but I feel like it's going to get worse before it gets better. Like, to me, this is just a start of what's going to transpire in Houston.
Yeah, I think you might be right. I think some dominoes will fall there sometimes ahead.
And let me ask you this. I feel like the only Band-Aid right now that can actually fix this Houston trouble would be the hiring of Eric Bieniemy, just because – that seems to be what Deshaun Watson wants. My question,
it's dangerous.
Yeah, and this is my question to you. Like, obviously, right now the optics are very bad, and you're losing a fan base. But that's who cares about that? I mean, they're their upper management; they could probably care less. But do you go out of your way and maybe go against your own beliefs to get, you know, the Bieniemy, the guy that your quarterback wants, to make him happy and maybe make the team happy? Or do you stick to your guns? Do you go all in and say, we have some sort of goal here that we're trying to accomplish? You may not be able to see it, but we got to stick to our guns.
Yeah, I think your 26-year-old quarterback's the most important piece of your franchise, quite frankly. But you made it down the road this far. I don't think you swerve out of the way. If you have a belief system and who you have and who you want, and Bieniemy's not it, I'm not picking him just to satisfy Deshaun Watson.
Yeah.
You know, if I think I can win big with somebody else, again, I don't. That's what's crazy to me is even when we talk like about the Rooney Rule, it's like it just surprises me that's a thing in the NFL, and I get it because the numbers, it is a thing, but the most important thing to do in the NFL is win.
Yeah.
Like, you have to go get the best guy. Color, gender, age, it doesn't matter. Like, you have to go with who you think is going to be the best guy or best woman or whatever to run your football program, because winning is all that matters in the NFL. And so, again, I have to do that rather than satisfy my player, although you have to repair that somehow too if you don't pick the enemy.
Yeah.
But maybe this isn't going to end the saga just satisfying Watson with an interview. You know what I mean?
True.
And by the way, if I'm the enemy, I'm not sure I'm walking in that door anyway.
Why would you?
I mean, why would you walk in that door?
Yeah.
Hey, quick mention, Gus Bradley to the Raiders. That reports for the last week or so. So good for Gus. A lot of good reaction, by the way, from the Las Vegas Raiders defense of players that I saw of getting Gus Bradley to the Raiders. Kind of reunites that Tampa connection with Gruden. So that is there. And who was it? Dan Quinn to the Cowboys. So some other coaching moves in that sense, but still no real head coaching dominoes just yet. For the Jaguars or any of the 7 teams that are looking for a new head coach.
Can you imagine Bradley and Gruden together, though? Like, just the energy there?
Woo! Yeah, I mean, that's a room that
Hold
could
on to your
combust.
horses.
Yeah,
like,
no doubt.
like imagine them at training camp going back and forth, like Gruden's offense versus Bradley's defense. Man.
Hey, real quick, we've done this a little bit before, but now that the season's over, Devontae Smith, you brought this up. Devontae Smith or Kyle Pitts. You've got, like, let's just say the 12th pick in the draft, okay?
Yeah.
12th pick in the draft, and you got both guys on the board.
I know.
And you're going with a pass catcher of some kind. Where are you going, Devontae Smith, Kyle Pitts?
If I'm the Jaguars, or are we just any team in general?
Well, I get that. I get that it's a little bit situational. Jags could use both, so how about we just say you're the Jags?
I'm the Jags. I got to go Kyle Pitts, man. And I say that maybe a little bit regrettably because I feel like Devontae Smith could be the next Tyreek Hill, but I just think from a size, from a mismatch standpoint, Kyle Pitts is that dude, so I have to go Pitts.
Well, if I was picking 13th and Devontae Smith's left on the board after you take Kyle Pitts, I'm pretty happy.
Sure, absolutely, as you should be.
I've got to be fully honest with you, and I was hoping you'd go the different way so we could be different, but I kind of agree with you because that position, the way it's played, like Darren Waller, is you're doing something different that people don't do. And the Jags are missing that spot in a big-time way. It's way more of a need. The only thing I'm concerned about right away with a guy like Pitts, as good as he looks and good as he could be, is the fact that tight ends, we've done this before, don't do that great initially in the NFL. Like it's more rule than more exception than rule that a tight end will come in right away and contribute the way you want him to.
And then you could very well see like Smith come in the league right away and be like the next A.J. Brown or DK Metcalf easily. You know, like that's not out of the realm of possibility.
Very good call. There's been much more splash from the wide receivers, the young wide receivers in the NFL. Hey, more to get to, including back to Urban Meyer we go. Is this the final day we talk about Urban Meyer potentially? And Jags fans, relax a little bit. Relax, Jags fans. I'm bringing out my best Aaron Rodgers at the pickle up in Wisconsin. Relax. I'll tell you why next on ESPN 690.
Action Sports Jacks with Brent Martineau on ESPN 690 is brought to you by Best Bet Jacksonville and Orange Park.
Now, the First Alert forecast on ESPN 690.
Partly to mostly cloudy and cool tonight, dropping into the lower 40s, and partly cloudy tomorrow, a cool Wednesday afternoon high in the lower 60s. From the First Alert Weather Center, I'm Action News Jax Chief Meteorologist Mike Burrish.
The Weather Center is brought to you by Beard's Diamonds, where you get the lowest diamond price guaranteed or your money back.
No matter what you are driving, you can step up to luxury now at any of the Fields Auto Group dealerships in Jacksonville. Cadillac, Jaguar, Land Rover, Lexus, Mercedes-Benz, and Porsche. Yes, it's luxury for less at all Fields Auto Group locations in Jacksonville. Plus, you'll also be part of their exclusive Fields Amenities program, where you will get complimentary loaners, car washes, and cafes. So whatever you're driving, see Fields first and step up to luxury for less during this amazing opportunity. Visit fieldsauto.com.
We should always be looking at our finances, but 2020 made my family take an even closer look, a bit more of a deeper dive, and it might have done the same for you, even into the world of retirement. Although that's a bit down the road for me, it might be closer for you, and your plan should already be under a microscope, and you have to lean on the experts to help guide the right plan. My friend Mike Lester with Talon Wealth Management is the perfect partner. He will provide a complimentary analysis and a plan for you. Call them at 904-515-5000 or visit guardingyournestegg.com. That's 904-515-5000 or guardingyournestegg.com. Mike will give you the guidance you need as retirement gets closer. He can help you convert company plans to private plans, a move that might give you higher returns and more options. You've earned the money. Now make sure you are ready for whenever retirement will be. Call Mike Lester at Talon Wealth Management, 904-515-5000. That's 904-515-5000 or visit guardingyournestegg.com.
For the ones who know that a little late is always too late, and that the clock doesn't stop just because you're missing a part, Grainger offers supplies and solutions for every industry. And our Keep Stock inventory management solutions help ensure you have the right stuff in the right place at exactly the right time. Visit Grainger.com/keepstock to learn more. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Save thousands and pay up to 50% less MSRP during the New Year's clearance event going on now at Arlington Toyota Pre-Owned. Pay up to 50% less and buy a pre-owned 2020 Corolla LE from just $11,881. Save on Camry and pay up to 50% less on a pre-owned 2020 Camry SE from just $17,291. How about a pre-owned 2020 RAV4 XLE from just $19,991? Pay up to 50% less at Arlington Toyota Pre-Owned today. 10939 Atlantic Boulevard or online at arlingtontoyota.com. Visit arlingtontoyota.com/New Year clearance for details.
If you love golf or know somebody who does, you need to get this deal. 8 rounds of golf for less than $12 per round plus cart fees with a Dream 18 golf card at great area golf courses like St. John's Golf and Country Club, Amelia River Golf Club, and Eagle Landing Golf Club. And this isn't just a golf card. Get a free shirt from Baker Sports, a free hat at Dome Hats, and a free smoothie from Smoothie King, plus 15% off any purchase at Palm Beach Autographs. Go to ESPN690.com to purchase the Dream 18 card for $95. Hundreds of dollars in savings and the perfect gift.
I'm Action News Jax Tanika Hughes, and one of the great things about living in Jacksonville is our diverse communities. It's so important that the local stories we cover in our newscasts reflect the people who live here. That's why we've launched Action News Jax Gets Real, to get real on issues like racism, housing challenges, and unequal access to health care. It's having difficult conversations, as well as celebrating people making a difference. This is Action News Jax Gets Real. Real talk, real change.
You probably played this as a kid, especially if you had siblings. Put a kink in the garden hose when your brother's trying to use it, then once the nozzles turn towards him, let it go. It's more fun when you're the older brother. The thing is, even a slight kink will reduce water flow to a trickle, and Flex Duct is like that too. Now you might be thinking,
it can't be that screwed up, can it? I can still feel air coming out of the vents.
And without working in air conditioning my whole life, I might think the same thing. Unfortunately, it can and often is that screwed up. Kinked and spaghetti ductwork, hairpin turns, it's why our techs take pictures. And just because airflow is coming out of the vent doesn't mean it's adequate airflow. It's why Griffin service techs measure airflow and static pressure rather than just feeling with their hands and guessing. Because without adequate airflow, performance turns into turd buckets. The good news, it doesn't take that much work to dramatically improve airflow and comfort. The better news, from now until February, you can get a deal on fixing your ductwork. But only if you call
GriffinService.com.
License number 1250697.
People have been isolated for months by COVID-19. If you're concerned for someone who may be experiencing sexual violence or in need of confidential anonymous information, please call the Florida Sexual Violence Hotline at 888-956-7273 or go online to fcasv.org. Help us end sexual and dating violence in Florida. This message is sponsored by the Florida Department of Health, the Florida Council Against Sexual Violence, the Florida Association of Broadcasters, and this radio station.
If you love golf, you need to get this deal. 8 rounds of golf for less than $12 per round plus cart fees with the Dream 18 golf card at great area golf courses like Queens Harbor Yacht and Country Club, Fleming Island Golf Club, and 6 others. And this isn't just a golf cart. Get a free shirt from Baker Sports, a free hat at Dome Hats, and a free smoothie from Smoothie King, plus 15% off any purchase at Palm Beach Autographs. Go to ESPN690.com to purchase the Dream 18 card for $95. Hundreds of dollars in savings and the perfect gift.
An essential part of starting and running a business is managing cash flow. This involves not just generating sales revenue, but also securing financing, handling expenses, and ensuring there is working capital in order to reinvest. At SCORE, we offer advice and can direct you to resources to help address these issues. Since 1964, SCORE has helped more than 11 million entrepreneurs and small business owners. We provide free one-on-one mentoring, a library of online information, and a series of timely webinars. Go to jacksonville.score.org to see how we can assist you today.
Hey everybody, it's Brent Martineau from Action Sports Jacks. There's a good chance you have a smart speaker, so use it with ESPN 690. Stay up to date on the Jags and all things sports by telling Alexa or Google to play ESPN 690. It's as easy as that. Make sure you listen weekdays 3 until 6 p.m. on ESPN 690.
Brent Martineau.
Never heard of what happened in Iowa yesterday, and I don't even know how to pronounce the name of it. Derecho.
Austin Lane.
Iowa State Cyclones. You should call them the Derechos. You can shorten it up, call them the Chos. Why not, man? I'm into it.
Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690.
If Week 17 didn't play a part in firing Doug Peterson, then what did? Because in his statement, he says 2 or 3 different things that I noticed as a little puzzling. You know, you want to do all these great things for Doug Peterson, but yet and still you fire him. You love him. He's part of the family. But you fire him. I guess both can be true. You know, I don't think it was the right move, but that's just me personally. I've always felt like a guy that won a Super Bowl 3 years ago deserves more time to try to figure it out. And making the playoffs after winning the Super Bowl a couple times, and you still fire him, who are you going to get that's going to get you back to where you were before if it's not Doug Peterson?
That's Keyshawn Johnson, 6 a.m., 10 a.m., Zubin J. and Keyshawn right here on ESPN 690, Monday through Friday. You know, I think he's got a good point there. It's twofold for me, Austin. I mean, gosh, that should buy you some equity, shouldn't it? I mean, you win a Super Bowl first time ever in Philly, and at the same time, if I'm the owner or I'm a manager of something and I don't think it's going in the right direction, it's not about yesterday, it's about tomorrow. And so if it's the right call and you don't think he's going to get you back there and it's more going downhill than up, then I get it. We just don't know that. Like, we don't know those kind of conversations. But at its face value, man, I would think you'd buy a little bit more equity with a Super Bowl championship, even in Philadelphia, just 3 years removed from it.
Listen, he lost the locker room, and it's as simple as that. I think that there was no way he was going to show face next season and not have to answer for what he did with the Jalen Hurts, Nate Sudfeld situation. Simple as that. I mean, Tom Coughlin built up some kind of, cachet here in Jacksonville up to 2017 because his blueprint was all over that team. Right, but what happened after that? He lost the team, he lost the locker room, and there was repercussions for that. Same thing with Doug Peterson.
Yeah, listen, I'm going to bring out my Aaron Rodgers voice in a moment and say relax to Jags fans in just a moment. I'll tell you why. I'll tell you my thought process behind that and why I need to at the moment. But before we do that, let's get to Action News Jack's Ben Becker. Joins us once in a while, probably wants to talk wrestling. But we're going to talk a little bit about Lot J because he's in a council meeting right now, and there's a big vote tonight. And this could be a monster 24 hours or so for Shad Khan. Could get Lot J approved. Who knows? Could hire a new coach, and that coach could be Urban Meyer. I mean, this could be a big 24 hours bet.
Brent, guys, Lot J is like wrestling. It's like WrestleMania tonight down at City Hall. I mean, this is the Royal Rumble. You have 19 council people who are going to go in there, and they're going to fight it out. And if there's 13 votes, Lot J goes through.
How contentious is it, and how close will the vote be? Because I feel like I've seen you covering the story, the people I talked to, I think there's momentum for this to pass tonight. Is that still the case as they're about to vote tonight?
Well, originally I thought this was going to be an easy one, maybe 16-3, something like that. But the more I talk to people, I'm starting to get the feeling it's going to be closer than we all think it might be. From handicapping it today, talking to some folks, there may be about 6 people who are leaning no, and then 1 person on the fence. So if the 7 go against it, this thing dies. Still, if I had a bet right now, I'd bet it goes through, but it may not be as close as we think.
Ben, I saw that you confirmed that, the Jaguars owner, Shad Khan, actually personally reached out to, many members of this city council ahead of tonight for the vote. Is that common, have you found, or is that kind of obviously a special kind of circumstance because he wants those votes?
Well, I don't think Shad is normally calling them to go out and play golf or something.
Sure.
So I think, considering the circumstances, considering what's at stake, a well-timed text to these folks, I think was something just to be able to put out there. And what I was told, it was kind of friendly. It wasn't anything that was like, okay, you need to do this or else. It was more like, hey, do what you think is best. But the idea that the owner of the Jags is reaching out to you, I think it's kind of resonates. At least he hopes it resonates. Say, hey, look, this is important, and I wouldn't be contacting you if it wasn't.
Ben Becker with us from Action News Jax. See him on CBS 47 and Fox 30. Big night in Jacksonville. No matter which side you sit on in the Lot J vote, if it does get approved, where, again, I feel like there's been momentum. In fact, one person said just by a nose or a whisker might pass this thing. What happens next, Ben? Is this it?
Well, no, of course not, because then they're going to come back in the second quarter of 2023, them being the Jags, and we'll start talking about stadium renovations. And it's important to realize second quarter of 2023, that's the time that they've stated they want to talk about it. Coincidentally or not, that's when we'll have a new mayor and new members of city council as well. So they're going to use that time between now and then, some would say, is to build support for that next step. The next step being what will be, again, another hundreds of millions of dollars in public money going towards this time of stadium renovation.
Yeah, and that's next on the horizon. But what about, like, if this passes, does that mean construction will start soon? And there's no other hurdles for Shad Khan, everybody else in the Lot J development?
It's not going to start tomorrow, Brent. What's going to happen is they need to remediate the property around the stadium. That means that's poisonous property that goes back to World War II, even before then. They need to clean it all up. It's going to take up to 36 months to do that. Once that's taken care of, then they can start breaking ground on the actual project, and that could take from that time. It could take up to from now till then, maybe 7 years until this thing is actually built full out.
Wow. How about that? One last question for you, man, and then I'll let you get back. I appreciate it. Ben Becker with us from CBS 47, Fox 30, Action News Jax, covering a lot, Jay, tonight. Do you think there's any bit of the momentum in the city about Trevor Lawrence, the momentum in the city potentially, well, either way about a new head coach, but a potential about Urban Meyer, will impact council members at all one way or another in a vote like this?
I'm not sure it's going to necessarily change a vote from no to yes, but it certainly doesn't hurt, right? The idea that they're hitting the reset button on the franchise, you get a franchise guy in like Trevor Lawrence, you could get an Urban Meyer in there. I would think, that does not hurt the cause, right? That's part of the, hey, we're going to now take this to the next level. This is a whole different team. This is a whole different organization. So, yeah, it has to help. It certainly is not going to make someone go from a yes to a no. So, this is great timing. If they couldn't have asked for a better situation to have this kind of timing work out where the franchise is changing its trajectory at the same time of making this huge ask.
All right. Let's see if anybody gets thrown out of the ring. Royal Rumble style tonight.
Remember, they have to go over the top rope, and both feet need to hit the floor.
Thanks, Ben Becker.
knows his stuff. He knows his stuff.
There you go.
Well, he'll have the latest for you tonight on CBS 47 and Fox 30. Thanks, Ben Becker. We appreciate you jumping in. Austin, I said this today. I was thinking of this from just a PR perspective, almost like the old Yankees, the way they did things. The Yankees are kind of the cliche, and I heard this associated with the Yankees. If you took a PR class, I'm not sure if it originated with them. But it was like if something went wrong in the organization, they would usually trump it by the end of the week with something positive.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
And so that might just be the old adage in PR and marketing or whatever. But I was saying today, with all the momentum the Jags have built up, with Trevor Lawrence, who looks a sure thing. By the way, I've heard season ticket deposits are like up exponentially already. And they haven't even made a push yet.
Yeah.
But just the idea of Trevor Lawrence and now all the talk about the new coach and potentially Urban Meyer. So there's that kind of buzz. But tonight is still the Lot J thing, which the Jaguars are tied into, is a contentious thing. There's conflict there. Not everybody agrees. And so if it does pass tonight, and then you get a little bit of the conflict tonight, tomorrow, and some of that contentious nature and criticism of it, well, you could certainly drown that out by tomorrow afternoon with the news of Urban Meyer being the next head coach of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
True.
So Ben just talked about timing, and I just looked at it from that angle, and I'm like, tomorrow could be an interesting time to drop some news for the Jags.
For sure.
Either way, even if it doesn't pass, but I think that thing is going to pass later tonight. We'll see what happens with Lot J. Hey, I tweeted before Ben came on, and I said relax, right? Aaron Rodgers, that famous relax, and then went on a run. The reason I say it is because I feel like, Austin, I don't know if you're picking up on this too, but it's almost like social media and Jackson's like, all right already, come on, Urban. If you're not going to say it, that doesn't mean you want to be here. You don't want to coach. Your heart's not in it. You're not 100% in. What's taking you so long?
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of where I'm at.
I know, but I think it's a little bit dangerous. It's like we had 4 o'clock on a Tuesday. If he doesn't tell us by then, well, then the Jags are screwing this up. Screw you, Urban Meyer. We don't want you anymore. Now the Jags are going to miss out on their next best guy. I would just say settle down a little bit. Settle down to that. I don't see anybody naming a head coach yet, unless I missed something over the last couple of hours. Nobody's named a head coach. I still believe this thing is held up a bit because of the domino of the Jags. Whether that's related to Urban Meyer or not, I think the domino of the Jags is an important domino in the head coaching search for the entire league this offseason, not just here in Jacksonville. That does not mean Robert Saleh couldn't be named the head coach of the Jets later tonight. I mean, it could happen. He might pick that. But he also, if he's interested in this Jags job, he might wait another 24 hours either way to see, okay, I'm going to give it 24 more hours, and then I'm going to make up my mind. And the Jags, if they're in play, I like that job better than the Jets. You know what I mean?
I get what you're saying here, but I disagree from this standpoint. Number one, yes, no team has signed a head coach yet that's looking for one, but there has been some GM signings. Number two, I don't know who the Jets are going to take. I don't know who the Falcons are going to take. I don't know who the Lions are going to take. I don't know who I don't know who any of those teams. I have no idea who their top guy is because we have no idea. Because the rumors aren't really saying anything. The teams aren't really saying anything. I have no idea. I don't know who the Chargers' top pick is. But I do know this. I do know that the Jacksonville Jaguars' top pick for the head coach is Urban Meyer. People can talk about it in the national media. We can talk about it locally. That's the only certain thing right now in the entire NFL in terms of head coach searches is the fact that the Jacksonville Jaguars want to get Urban Meyer. Everything else right now is cannon fodder and it's speculation. So with that being said, that's why I'm a little nervous. That's why it's hard for me to relax because, the road is clear. Either you get Urban Meyer or it's going to be a disappointment. And the longer that we wait, I feel like, well, Urban, do you have an idea or are you still talking this out? Because if you're still talking this out, that's not a good sign. That's where my frustration comes from a little bit.
And that's where I say relax. I still think no news is good news here. If we have not heard Urban Meyer say by now that he wants out, well, then I think he wants in. I think the longer it goes I thought today would be the day we would hear, he says he's not interested. Or I thought maybe, and we still could get this later tonight, this is when the rumors will start flying, that there's smoke.
You don't think that Urban Meyer just loves to hear his name being talked about, though, and he's kind of cherishing this right now?
Well, I do. I guess there's a bit of gamesmanship in there, but I also think they don't want anything out, man. Nobody wants anything out until they want to be able to, boom, announce it. So maybe they're doing a great job keeping it under wraps. We don't know. We're all creating the narrative by talking about it. So, but the Jags aren't saying anything. I know Shad Khan's camp doesn't say anything. Urban Meyer's camp has certainly been quiet over the last few days. And I think he had stuff piled up Monday and Tuesday. So this might have been like, hey, get back with us on Wednesday. We're going on there. Or later tonight. I still think later tonight the Jags and Urban Meyer know where it's headed. I don't know if we will. But I think by later tonight, and it might already be happening, that they know where it's at. I'm just not sure we know where it's at. In fact, I know we don't know where it's at. But we could by tomorrow. We'll see. Maybe we'll know in the next 10 minutes. If so, we'll share it with you on Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690. We'll be right back.
And here's the crazy thing, Lakers fans. AD needed championships. Chips plural, to start entering the greatest power forward ever conversation, because he's got the skills, right? But Tim Duncan did too, and Tim Duncan's got 5 chips. Well, AD's got 1 now. How many does he need to win with the Lakers before he starts entering that conversation? Who's the greatest power forward of all time?
The Max Kellerman Show, weekdays at 2 Eastern on ESPN Radio. And now, watch exclusively on ESPN+.
Saying goodbye to a loved one is never easy. Hi, I'm Larry Self, owner of The Casket Store. For the past 20 years, we've been helping people create the perfect cemetery headstone. Our process is simple, no pressure, and our prices are surprisingly low. We install headstones, bronze markers, and upright monuments in any cemetery in the Southeast. We also offer bronze plaques for churches and schools. For more information and to see our work, please visit us at thecasketstore.com.
Boss, have you heard the latest about the ding-dong doorbell cameras?
What, more employees spying on customers?
Nope.
Hackers again?
No, boss, this time they had to recall over 350,000 video doorbells.
Recall? What happened?
A bunch of them caught fire.
Whoa, unbelievable. It's one thing after another with them.
Yeah. Notice you never heard that with Safe Touch's video cameras?
Well, now you're just comparing a Bentley with a bumper car.
Exactly. I just don't understand why any homeowner wouldn't go with Safe Touch.
Yeah, their video monitoring's virtually hack-proof. Oh, and here's a bonus. Safe Touch cameras don't burst into flames.
No kidding.
It's just a good thing not everyone knows about Safe Touch, because we gotta stick to the Crooks R Us golden rule. Stay away from Safe Touch houses.
Yeah, don't gotta tell me twice.
Crooks know to stay away from Safe Touch houses. Hi, I'm Lester Jackson, president of Safe Touch Security Systems. No one beats our technology or our price.
Call Safe Touch today at 888-723-8682 or go to safetouch.com. State license number EF233.
Home Builders Institute is a national leader for career training in the building industry and provides students the skills and experience they need for successful careers. HBI training programs are taught in local communities across the country to youth, veterans, displaced workers, and other underserved populations. These programs do more than just provide job skills. They also build character and self-esteem, helping to provide students with the skills they need to succeed on the job and in life. Learn more at hbi.org.
Do you know that there are 7 steps that can help to ensure a lifetime of success for your child or grandchild, even though they may have trouble controlling their anger or lack of focus or respect for others? Karate America takes pride in the tens of thousands of children they've impacted. Imagine your child or grandchild showing and earning respect, setting and achieving goals, and making good grades. Visit karateamerica.info to see if Karate America's leadership program is a good fit for your child.
If you love golf, you need to get this deal. 8 rounds of golf for less than $12 a round, plus card fees, with the Dream 18 golf card at great area golf courses like the Golf Club at Southampton, the Club at Osprey Cove, and Hidden Hills Golf Club. And this isn't just a golf cart. Get a free shirt from Baker Sports, a free hat at Dome Hats, and a free smoothie from Smoothie King, plus 15% off any purchase at Palm Beach Autographs. Go to ESPN690.com to purchase the Dream 18 card for just $95. Hundreds of dollars in savings and the perfect gift.
I'm Action News Jax Tanika Hughes, and one of the great things about living in Jacksonville is our diverse communities. It's so important that the local stories we cover in our newscasts reflect the people who live here. That's why we've launched Action News Jax Gets Real, to get real on issues like racism, housing challenges, and unequal access to health care. It's having difficult conversations, as well as celebrating people making a difference. This is Action News Jax Gets Real. Real talk, real change.
In 2021, the new motto is seize the day. So you gotta go to Arlington Toyota, because their super low lease payments are gonna put a brand new Toyota in your driveway tonight. Right now at Arlington, lease a new 2021 Camry LE for as low as $186 a month, or lease a new 2021 Tacoma SR5 double cab V6 for just $259 a month. Seize the day and make 2021 yours in a new Toyota from Arlington Toyota. Shop safely in person at 10939 Atlantic Boulevard or online at arlingtontoyota.com. Visit arlingtontoyota.com/January for full details.
Did you know breast cancer kills more than 41,000 people every year in the U.S.?
That's 113 people every day.
Breast cancer is unacceptable. Visit Komen.org/unacceptable.
The hardest part of any goal is oftentimes getting started. All month long, we're going to help you get started on the path for a happier you for free. To hear from our experts and check out upcoming shows from personal health to your home's health, visit GetStartedJax.com.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Austin Lane from Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690. Smart speakers are becoming part of everyday life, so why not use it to listen to the radio? Tell Alexa, Google Home, or any other speaker to play ESPN 690. Give it a shot weekday afternoons from 3 to 6.
Well, I think you can read into that Urban Meyer is trying to decide if he wants to coach here, if he wants to take a shot at the NFL. And from what I gather, he hasn't been full steam ahead with regard to taking the Jaguars job or making a strong push to say, hey, I'm your guy. I mean, I think he'd be the guy in Jacksonville if he really strongly said, I'm in, let's go. The conversations that I have had with regard to that situation over the last 24 hours or so, I'm not getting that sense at all. And Meyer's trying to figure out really what he wants to do here. Are there other opportunities that maybe he would wait for or be interested in? I think he's kind of going through his options. Now the college season is over. He's a college football analyst. So I would expect that now we're going to find out what direction Urban Meyer wants to go in. I know the Jaguars are curious, and I know that they would love to make a coaching hire at some point in the next couple of days here. So we'll watch it as Meyer decides his future and the Jaguars decide if they want to bring him aboard at this point.
So that was Mike Garafolo, right? And I think that's one of those things. That's what got people kind of talking about what I said in the last segment when I said relax. It's like people are like, see, he's still trying to figure out if he wants to do it or not. It's like, I don't know if I believe that. I think that's interpretation. You kind of interpret what you want to hear. And I don't really think Mike Garafolo, with all due respect to him, I think he does a fantastic job. I don't really think he said anything new.
No, we didn't learn anything from that.
Nothing. And by the way, no disrespect. Those guys were put in a position. Like I did this last night a little bit. This happens in our business. It's like, okay, we need to do something. Do you have anything new? Or, well, it really happens for those inside guys, NFL Network, ESPN. It's like, hey, give us something. Well, he really didn't tell us anything. Like nothing new there whatsoever. But he drafted it like he was just getting information in the last 24 hours. When I watched that, I was like, he doesn't know anything going on, anything new in the last 24 hours. Like he's just saying what we've all kind of heard. Like everything is that quiet right now on the Urban Meyer front. Yeah, I truly believe it. And that's not like a national guy versus local guy thing. No, I just think they're forced to try to tell you what's going on. I mean, if you read like a Rappaport tweet sometime or a Schefter tweet sometimes, it's like, okay, you can tell they needed something, right? I mean, there's really not a lot of news in there.
No, without a doubt. And I get it. Like, Urban Meyer's a big name. He's trending. We talk about him. But, Kuz, what camera are we on today for me? So I can look right at the camera and talk to Urban real quick.
The one in front of you.
Right in front, this one right here. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I guess the one that's on. Yeah, that makes sense.
If
with
it's
the blue light.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Urban, I'm going to talk directly to you right now, man. And listen, I know you watch the show, all right, because the analytics say it, all right? We know you watch the show. Maybe you're watching right now. Maybe Brent Martineau says, hey, Urban Meyer, he'll tune in and he'll listen to what to say. Can you just please make a decision by tomorrow before the show, okay? Because right now, every single day I'm waking up and it feels like Groundhog Day. And I've sang your praises today. Me and Tim Tebow agree. You're probably the best candidate in terms of adapting. I've broken down your offensive philosophy. I've broken down your quarterbacks. I've asked the questions, can you adapt? I've asked the questions of the health and all that stuff. And I'm grasping at straws now, Urban, because I got nothing left to give you. So can you please help the show out? Because we know you're a fan and you watch it all the time. Can you please make a decision by tomorrow? That's all I'm asking. Because if not, like, I'm throwing Hail Marys tomorrow. I'm going off zodiac signs. I'm going to find out your birthday, and I'm going to be like, okay, well, seeing how he's this zodiac sign, he's going to be this type of, like, that's where I'm at right now, Urban. So you can tune in tomorrow and listen to that, or you can make a decision, and either way, I'm not going to be mad at you. Just make a decision.
We can see if his zodiac sign and Trevor Lawrence's zodiac sign
are
compatible.
Then now we're talking. We're talking.
By tomorrow's show topic is assembling the staff. Who do you like as the offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator? Seriously, from a prediction standpoint, 3 o'clock tomorrow, our show on Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690. Is he the head coach or not the head coach?
Oh, don't.
Prediction. It's
I
frame this as a prediction.
Yeah, tomorrow, is he the head coach or not? Well, you know how I feel. I feel like he's going to be revealed at AEW Dynamite. So no, he's not going to be the coach tomorrow quite yet.
All right, Kuz, you got a gun on this.
I'm going to say during the show.
At
some point, there'll be
when he calls in.
Listen.
When he calls in?
If Urban wants to make some numbers go through the roof on the show, dude, tell us about 320.
Hey, I mean, if you want to, or else we can just talk about Kyler Murray and get the same kind of bump, so it's whatever, Urban.
Yeah, ESPN 690 Desert.
Yeah.
But now we could have ESPN 690 Columbus.
Yeah. But no, realistically, Brent, what do you think? Do you think we're going to know by tomorrow's show?
I think so, yeah.
Good.
I think so.
Put that into existence because I'm at my wit's end here, Brent.
I think he's going to be a head coach of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Well, not like introduced like in a press conference form.
No, that's fine. I need an answer. And either way, yes or no, I'm to the point where, whatever. Hopefully it works out. If it doesn't, that's fine. But Urban, I am at my wit's end. Please help me out.
Help Austin out. I'm going with yes.
I can't take this anymore.
Kuz, what the heck's going on in the NBA? What did they figure out today?
A lot of COVID problems. Kyrie's been absent from the Nets for a few days, and he said it was for family issues. But now a video is out of him at a party without a mask, and they're trying to figure out if this was in the time that he was out. So it could get
he
ugly.
might not play all week, right? While that investigation.
Oh yeah, I don't think they're gonna let him back until they know.
What kind of party are we talking about?
Like a birthday party.
What kind of birthday party are we talking about? Was he at Chuck E. Cheese, or are we talking
what kind of wings?
Hot wings? Like, that's what I'm saying.
No, it was at like someone's house, and all you saw was Kyrie in the corner and someone blowing out candles, but none of them had masks on, so that was.
So not as bad as it being in a club or something.
Hard to blow out candles with a mask on, probably.
Oh, Brent. People could be upset with that comment. I'm kidding. Probably, though. It's 2020. I don't know. Masks.
Hey, the Florida State Coaches Show, Hoops, is on at 9 o'clock tonight right here on ESPN 690. Leonard Hamilton and the Knowles. But coming up next, it's Live, Local, Loud. We'll have the latest for you on the Jags head coaching search on TV on CBS 47, Fox 30 all night long. Back at it tomorrow at 3.
Hey, Urban Meyer, you have 20 hours. Ultimatum has been put in place. Let's go.
Let's go. It's decision time, Herbs. Have a good night, everybody. Thanks for listening to Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690. Happy New Year from the team at CGC Water. This new year, our gift to you is clean drinking water. A Connecticut system from CGC Water removes up to 99% of contaminants. That's clean water. Right now, CGC Water is offering a free A200 reverse